Chapter 341, The Deceased 3. The ghosts of the Nether Ghost Realm all have one thing in common: they crave the body of the living. Even if it isn't the body of the living, they yearn desperately for any vessel that can house their soul, such as the body of a Jiangshi or a structure like that of the wall ghost. The reason is simple: they are all ghostly creatures, constantly suffering from the attraction force of the netherworld. There are generally three methods to withstand the attraction force of the netherworld. The first is the simplest: using one's own cultivation to resist. This is only feasible for ghost kings of at least the 4-axis stage. The second is to capture other ghostly creatures and offer them as substitute sacrifices to temporarily reduce one's own attraction force. This is typically done among vengeful spirits who hold grudges against each other, or by particularly cruel evil spirits performing devilish rituals. However, this ritual is often avoided even by those of the devilish path, as each time the ritual is performed, it actually strengthens the death aura of the initiator, increasing the attraction force of the netherworld even further. The third method is to obtain a body. Whether it's the city wall of the wall ghost, or the decaying flesh of a Jiangshi, as long as it's a vessel that somewhat suits them, it will allow considerable freedom from the netherworld's attraction force. Among these, the body of the living is of the highest value. Even a ghost king with a significant amount of death will gain tremendous freedom from the netherworld's attraction force if they possess the body of the living. Although the body will lose its vitality, the ghost can still move quite freely as if they are alive. Of course, as time passes, the body will become more like that of the deceased, but in the nether ghost realm, the body of the living is the ultimate tool for prolonging life. Furthermore, a ghost king who obtains the body of the living can conceal the death surrounding their body within the living flesh, making it less noticeable. However, this old monster before him is carrying an enormous amount of death, processed through 19 heads. This much is understandable. After long cultivation in the depths of the nether ghost realm, it's possible to reach such a state. Moreover, if one gazes too long at the sky and is eroded by an entering nirvana true person who mastered devilish arts, it isn't entirely impossible. Though a puppet of such an entering nirvana true person might go berserk at any time, it is still within the bounds of common sense. But a being with such insane levels of death actually possesses the body of a living. What's more, only the appearance has changed. The death aura hasn't diminished at all. This means that he wasn't intentionally revealing the appearance of that ghost king due to the power of his ghost path method, but rather that the aura of death he emits normally is just at that level. This suggests two possibilities. First, this madman had deliberately obtained the body of the living and repeated suicide 19 times to obtain such insane levels of death. Second, he had offered tens of millions of other ghost souls as sacrifices to the netherworld, continually strengthening his own death to reach his current state. Either way, he is quite the madman and malevolent spirit. No, if it's the first case, then the fact that the form of death is so distinct means that the suicide ritual that the old monster underwent isn't some kind of method or ceremony but actual suicide. Such a thing is impossible unless one is a true immortal or a reaper, meaning he obtained hundreds of bodies of the living and performed suicide rituals with them. Mangal, facing a mad old monster for the first time since becoming the city lord of Black River City, has no idea how to respond. Answer me, Black River City Lord. Why does everyone flee upon seeing my face? Is it that the body of the living is repulsed in the nether ghost realm? Or is my face somehow frightening? As the old monster with a serious expression approaches while questioning them, Mangal, trembling, notices something. Just why is he asking me such a question? Wait a minute, this old monster, does he really not know? A sudden possibility flashes through Mangal's mind. I see. This lunatic must have lost his memory after repeatedly performing dangerous rituals like the suicide ritual. I've heard that one can lose their sense of self while cultivating ghost methods, and this old monster must be a prime example of that. Cautiously, Mangal asks the old monster, Elder, you wouldn't be thinking of offering me as a sacrifice, would you? I have no such intention. That means he's not an evil spirit who offered millions as sacrifices. My assumption is correct. He slightly pats his chest in relief and explains to the crazy, senile, demented old monster before it. He explains the situation to Co Unyun. Blank, underscore, blank. Quote. So, I understand the situation. Ultimately, revealing the body of the living was the bigger problem. An old monster with 19 heads is an uncommon but comprehensible creature owing to the peculiarity of cultivation methods and the inherent danger posed by true persons. However, possessing a living body while emitting such a level of death is either the mark of a madman or an evil spirit who delights in offering numerous sacrifices. It seems that getting entangled with the ghost path makes me seem like a mad old monster every time. I also realize why the reactions of ghosts from the Nether Ghost realm differ from those of ghosts from other realms. In the Nether Ghost realm, death energy is always suppressed due to the gazes of the ones above. This allows the ghostly creatures in the Nether Ghost realm to engage in relatively normal activities even in the presence of stronger ghosts. However, it also means that they must judge others based on the form, size, and general aura of death, rather than intuitively sensing death. And to be honest, Elder, the general aura of death around you alone feels significantly dangerous. Quote. In short, my very existence is lethal to the ghosts of the Nether Ghost realm. Single quote. Damn it, is it better to live with the appearance of having 19 heads dangling? I sigh softly and turn to the city lord of Black River City in front of me to express my gratitude. Alright, thank you for the valuable information. While I was in the bright cold realm, this problem never crossed my mind as everyone possesses the body of the living. Even Yan Wei, as a living being herself, doesn't know about this issue and hadn't taught me about it. No, Elder, a person of your stature is undoubtedly a member of the distinguished ghost lineage. It is I who is honored to be of assistance. Mangal bows deeply, smiling. The initial fear he had shown towards me has diminished somewhat, and there is now a faint hope of gaining some benefit by serving me well starting to spark in his eyes. This works out well. This guy seems useful. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have him as a subordinate when forming my force. Feeling a change in the celestial energy, I turn my gaze to the horizon instead of directly looking at the sky. Oh, it's night now. Not the eyes of entering nirvana true persons, but as the true stars emerge in the sky, the yin energy becomes stronger. The night in the Nether Ghost realm is beautiful. I marvel quietly at the sky filled with yin energy, and the endless starlight that pierces through the yin energy to shine down on the earth. The Nether Ghost realm is brighter at night than during the day. As the gazes of the entering nirvana true persons are obscured by the attraction force of the stars, there is no longer any need to worry, and I look up at the sky. Then, a sudden thought crosses my mind. Wait, they said that death is usually suppressed by the gazes of the true persons in the Nether Ghost realm, but what happens when their gazes are obscured by the attraction force of the stars? And that question is soon answered. Hoo-ah, it's a great ghost. Mangal, who had been answering my questions with a hint of subtle expectation just moments ago, suddenly loses his rationality, screams madly, abandons his skeletal body and flees somewhere, even leaving behind Black River City. Quote. Wong, I suddenly feel the wall ghost residing in the city walls abandoning its vessel and fleeing away, sensing my death. Sweeping my consciousness across the entire Black River City, I sense nothing. The once bustling Black River City, which hosted a large gathering of a variety of ghosts, has become a desolate ruin, all due to my presence. On my first day in the Nether Ghost realm, I succeeded in annihilating Black River City. Quote. Blank, _ blank. So, you didn't get any information. That is correct. Well, it can't be helped. It doesn't matter much, since we have information I gathered. Fortunately, thanks to the efforts of Yan Wei and Hong Fan, Jeon Myung-hoon and Kim Yeon, a significant amount of information has been gathered downstream. First, the place we've fallen to is the White Yin Domain. It is an area situated between the territories of the Underworld Ghost Palace and Punglai Island, making it one of the non-aggression zones between the two factions. Her explanation continues. And there's some good news. It turns out that White Yin Domain contains a crucial element required for establishing the 5 Blessings Axis. I recall her earlier explanation. There are several essential requirements needed to build the 5 Blessings Axis. First, a true immortal, or a middle realm that governs the concept of the respective axis. Second, an influence, to gather the materials needed to build the axis. And lastly, the Void Spirit Pond. Naturally, the first and second requirements are either impossible to obtain on our own or too easy to acquire, so Yan Wei wouldn't be making a fuss about them. What she is referring to has to be the last one. So, this White Yin Domain contains a Void Spirit Pond. Hoo-hoo, that's right. I've heard that one of the reasons this place became a non-aggression zone is that both Punglai Island and the Underworld Ghost Palace had too many useless skirmishes over the Void Spirit Pond in the White Yin Domain, so they mutually decided to abandon it. The Void Spirit Pond is an incredibly important resource. For forces knowledgeable about the 5 blessings axis, it's an indispensable site. Even to those unaware of the 5 blessings axis, it's a valuable resource for easily recruiting genius-level talents from the lower realms, making it an excellent talent acquisition site. However, according to Yi and Wei, using the Void Spirit Pond merely as a talent acquisition site is an enormous waste. Of course, I did say it is a waste, but as it functions to sweep up a significant number of geniuses, it is still important. However, the Void Spirit Pond in White Yin domain is quite small, so it hardly serves as a talent acquisition site. Even when it does, it's very rare. Ultimately, both factions declared the White Yin domain as a non-aggression zone due to the unprofitable Void Spirit Pond. If that's the case, it could be useful for escaping the Nether Ghost Realm in case of emergency. The reason we fell into the White Yin domain was likely heavily influenced by the Void Spirit Pond. As such, there might be a higher possibility of opening a side path more easily in the Void Spirit Pond than in other places. By the way, if it's not the Underworld Ghost Palace or Penglai Island, then who is currently managing the Void Spirit Pond in the White Yin domain? I was about to tell you that too. It's jointly managed by the 3 major Ghost Path forces of White Yin domain, White Vein Gate, Shadow Yin Gate, and Death Corpse Sect. From what I've heard, they are only using it as a talent acquisition site rather than for establishing the 5 blessings axis, which is akin to putting pearls before swine. Yi and Wei grins at me and Jaeon Myung-hoon alternately. Understand, we need to rip the pearls from the swine and carry out Seo Eun-yun's plan to expand our forces and build the longevity axis. Jaeon Myung-hoon and I glance at each other, smiling slightly, and nod. Let's do it. All the information has been gathered, and the plan set. All that is left is to take action. Thus, Jaeon Myung-hoon and I move. Blank, _ blank. White Vein Gate, a sect that practices white bone-related spirit methods. Shadow Yin Gate, a sect that practices Shadow and Ghost King-related methods. Death Corpse Sect, a sect that practices Jiangshi methods. White Yin Domain was a peaceful area managed harmoniously by these 3 sects. The 3 sects also took turns using the Void Spirit Pond, and their sect leaders were on friendly terms, so things ran quite smoothly. But peace doesn't last forever. One day, a disturbance occurred in White Yin Domain. A mad old monster with 19 heads and his subordinate dragging 6 shadows appeared and occupied the Void Spirit Pond, the secret site of the 3 major sects of White Yin Domain. And those vicious ghost cultivators did not stop there. They spread out across White Yin Domain, kidnapping ghost souls and Jiangshi who were living peacefully, forcing them into labor in the area they occupied. The sudden outrageous acts of the old monsters led the 3 major forces of White Yin Domain to convene an emergency meeting. The sect leaders of the 3 major forces of White Yin Domain, all cultivators at the 4-axis stage, gathered at the White Vein Gate with serious expressions. The convener of this emergency meeting, White Vein sect leader Baek Rin, began speaking in a grave tone. You all know why I've called you here. Today, we need to discuss the mad old monster who suddenly appeared in White Yin Domain, occupied the Void Spirit Pond, and is causing havoc. We will also discuss the heretical cult he established that is indiscriminately kidnapping the ghost spirits of White Yin Domain to convert as followers, the Wuji religious order Wuji Jiao Tuan. Translator notes. The Wuji Mugyig in this context is in direct contrast to the 6 extremes Yagug. It basically means non-suffering. Chapter 342, The Deceased 4. The atmosphere in the conference room is tense. The Wuji religious order, the damage caused by that cult is enormous. I've heard that their malicious cult has already captured countless ghosts, Jiangshi, and white bone yokai, turning them into followers. Just what kind of spell are they using? It's obvious from a glance. They must have used some sinister sorcery to brainwash the innocent Jiangshi. Wei Shihun, the sect leader of the Death Corpse sect, slams the round table, exuding corpse energy furiously. What use is there in discussing this here? We must immediately capture and punish all the lackeys of that devilish cult who are capturing and brainwashing the innocent yokai right now. The enraged Wei Shihun's attraction force begins to distort the surrounding space. Seeing this, Iyamwa, the sect leader of the Shadow Yin Gate, speaks in a calm voice. Dressed in a pitch-black veil, Iyamwa reveals a pale white hand from within the shadowy veil, dispersing Wei Shihun's attraction force. Calm yourself, sect leader Wei. Even if we attack right now, it's not certain we can defeat that old monster. What if we lose? That mad old monster might seek revenge on our subordinates. Or worse, the devilish cult might brainwash us with their sinister sorcery, turning us into fanatical followers. So, you're suggesting we just sit here and debate like cowards? I'm saying we need to prepare for the possibility of defeat. Watching the two with conflicting opinions, Beck-Rin clears his throat. Both of your points are valid. First, we need to figure out how to deal with the followers of the devilish cult, and we also need to consider the possibility of defeat by the unexpectedly powerful old monster. What we need right now is information. It's already been around a month since that old monster occupied our void spirit pond. It may be a short time, but it's not insignificant. This Beck has gathered some information myself, and I intend to share it here. If the leaders of the Shadow Yin Gate and Death Corpse sect have any information, please share as well. Having said that, Beck-Rin begins to reveal the information he has gathered. First, the information collected by the White Vein Gate. Our sect was in charge of the Void Spirit Gate when that old monster occupied it. According to the testimonies of our disciples who witnessed the scene, the old monster and his subordinates' devilish arts have these characteristics. Quaruric. Beck-Rin takes out a hanging scroll from his storage scroll and spreads it on the table. The scroll depicts a scene of a monster with 19 heads rampaging in the Void Spirit Pond, recorded in the form of a video. The three leaders watch the scene with gleaming eyes. That method, I think I've seen it somewhere before. Beck-Rin claps his hands. There was a previous encounter of collaborating with the Yin ghosts affiliated with the Black Ghost Palace. Among the methods they used was one called Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets. The method that monster uses appears very similar to that Ghost Immortal Kui Devilish Secrets. Of course, there are also other peculiar abilities, unique forms, and unknown flows mixed in, making it hard to confirm, but there is a high likelihood that this old monster is connected to the Black Ghost Palace. What? Connected to the Black Ghost Palace? Damn it, does this mean the Black Ghost Palace is targeting the non-aggression zone between the Underworld Ghost Palace and Penglai Island? There's reason to think so. A murmur of discontent arises from the three leaders. Especially there. Look at the subordinate of that old monster, spraying black lightning. Their eyes fix on a monstrous figure spewing black lightning from all over its body. The monster has 6 shadows at its feet. The 6 shadows dance and sing around the monster, continuously spitting out pitch black lightning. The black lightning emitted by the monster causes the defensive formation deployed by the White Vein Gate, Shadow Yin Gate, and Death Corpse sect to melt like snow touched by fire. Of all things, it's lightning energy, which is highly incompatible for ghostly creatures. I don't know how they did it, but refining the lightning of vanquishing evil and upholding righteousness into a curse and using it, it's impressive. Wei Shihun frowns, seemingly in pain from a headache. However, Hua seems to realize something and gasps in surprise. That's the 6 Extremes Yin Thunder body. A devilish art you recognize. Of course, I've faced it in my youth. It's not something created by the main branch of the Black Ghost Palace, but by a branch in another dimension. They interpreted the techniques of a rival sect in that dimension to create it. It was so effective that it spread to the main branch. By refining the lightning of vanquishing evil and upholding righteousness into a curse, it can counter the righteous methods of the flower-painting Western Heaven Palace, and just brushing against it can cause fatal injuries to other ghostly creatures. It's a terrifying technique. So, they are indeed under the influence of Black Ghost Palace. Beck-Rin shakes his head at Wei Shihun's concern. I don't think so. Look at that old monster. Having 19 forms of death in one body, such a thing cannot occur naturally unless he's an insane madman who deliberately obtains bodies and repeatedly commits suicide. So, why have such things appeared on that old monster's body? It's simple. He speaks in a voice full of conviction. Although that person might have previously belonged to the Black Ghost Palace, he must have gone insane under the erosion of some entering nirvana true person. A monster eroded by a true person. Hua speaks with a worried expression. If that's the case, then what that evil cult worships might be most likely a true person. They might be trying to descend the avatar of the true person into this land. Such wickedness. Sacred Master Yuo won't allow it. We can only hope so. The three of them wear serious expressions for a while. After some time, the video showing the old monster's battle disappears, and Beck-Rin begins to explain the old monster's combat power, techniques, and characteristics that he has analyzed to the others. This is the information we've gathered and analyzed from the White Vein Gate. Please share your information as well. With those words, Hua takes out a hanging scroll from her storage scroll. I investigated the Wuji religious order through the shadow ghosts of the Shadow Yin Gate. There wasn't much time, so I couldn't uncover everything, but I did gather information on the current leadership of the Wuji religious order, their appearances, backgrounds, and roles. She begins her explanation. First, there is the black-white devil ghost Yian Jin, who is presumed to be the military strategist of the Wuji religious order and the concubine of the old monster. Despite being only at the core formation stage, she is often seen by the side of the old monster or his subordinate Jeon Myung-hoon, constantly engaging in conversation. Although her cultivation is low, she must be a person of great strategic talent. If we can't assassinate the old monster, our next target should be her. Baek Rin and Wei Shi-hun imprint Hwa's words in their minds, their eyes shining. Next are the four great law protectors of the Wuji religious order. The chief law protector, Six Extremes Ghost King, Jeon Myung-hoon. As you saw in the recent records from the White Vein Gate, he uses the Six Extremes Yin Thunder Body, and additionally employs Blood Crimson Red Lightning. The Red Lightning, in particular, possesses tremendous power and is extremely dangerous to us, making it imperative that we avoid being hit by it at all costs. Even a graze could be fatal, so if we ever engage in battle, he is not someone to face head-on. In particular, it is said that at night, he always sits atop the cult's building, constantly stroking someone's hand. Peculiar indeed. As expected of the chief law protector of the devilish cult. It's a position that cannot be reached by normal individuals. They read through the information, murmuring softly. Dragging 6 shadows, wielding black and red lightning, and caressing the hand of a deceased at night, that is the chief law protector of the devilish cult. Thinking of such a terrifying existence, they inwardly hope never to encounter Jeon Myung-hoon. Next are the left law protector, the mysterious bizarre ghost king, Kim Yeon, and the right law protector, the soul-extinguishing ghost king, Oh Yun-sok. We have no information on the right law protector Oh Yun-sok as he is dedicated to his training. However, Kim Yeon is known for her vile role in brainwashing the captured into followers. Any virtuous ghostly creatures who pass through her hands all turn into fanatical devotees of the Wuji religious order. She is undoubtedly an evil spirit skilled in sinister consciousness methods. Such wickedness, she must be eliminated at all costs. Lastly, there is the guardian law protector named Hong Fan. There is no information about him at all. We only just barely managed to learn his name. It is suspected that he is always by the side of the old monster, protecting him, presumably in the position of the cult guardian. Here is the general information about the methods and techniques they use. Quote, Hwa takes out another hanging scroll and unfolds it. With only a short month worth of time, we couldn't uncover much. No, this is more than enough. Excellent work, Shadow Yin Gate leader. The eyes of those who read the information finally turned to the sect leader of the Death Corpse sect, Wei Shi-hun. Both the White Vein Gate and the Shadow Yin Gate have done excellently. Although I wasn't able to obtain such detailed and high-quality information, I did discover one important thing. Wei Shi-hun grins slyly as he speaks. That is, there is something suspicious about the cultivation method of the Wuji religious order's leader. With a sinister expression, he raises his finger. First, I had our informants monitor the religious order's movements, and one peculiar pattern emerged. The cult leader, that old monster, seems to normally roam the cult grounds during the day, engaging in some sinister activities with the followers. However, at night, he retreats and locks himself in his quarters, never coming out. Moreover, he surrounds his quarters in thick, black curses to prevent anyone from entering. Wei Shi-hun looks at Baek Rin. Isn't that strange? For us ghostly creatures, the night of the nether ghost realm is a much more favorable time for activity than the day. Considering sect leader Baek's earlier speculation that the old monster might be eroded by an entering nirvana true person, doesn't this lead to an interesting hypothesis? Could it be? Exactly that, could it be? That old monster is an old ghost being eroded by a true person, and the source of his terrifying power comes from those true persons above. Therefore, at night, when the gazes of those above are obscured, he shuts himself in his quarters, sealing it tightly with curses to prevent anyone from entering. Indeed, Baek Rin and Hwa's faces brighten. In other words, the night is highly likely the old monster's weakness. Therefore, I propose that we all join forces and launch a full-scale attack at night. ___. The depths of the Wuji religious order. In the basement where the Void Spirit Pond is located. I sit on the cult leader's seat and sigh. How did it come to this? Creak, creak, creak. With the sound of something creaking echoing, two ghostly creatures appear from inside the basement along with Yi and Wei. With a broad smile, Yian Wei excessively bows towards me and shouts. Strategist Yian Wei greets the cult leader. Foe follower Gwak Sung greets the cult leader. Follower Wei Room greets the cult leader. Following Yian Wei, the two ghostly creatures prostrate themselves before me. I shake my 19 heads with gleaming eyes. Then, putting on a majestic facade, I speak. Are you the new recruits? Why yes. We have already undergone the procedure by the left law protector mysterious bizarre ghost king. Come closer. Originally Jiangxi, their bodies have been modified into living puppets by Kim Yian. My initial plan was this. I intended to create a sect that would provide bodies to the ghostly creatures of the nether ghost realm who suffer from attraction force due to the lack of a vessel by using the Mad Lord's puppets. The puppets of the Mad Lord were originally designed to cultivate artificial souls, so with some modifications, they could also be used as bodies for ordinary souls. Of course, this plan is possible because it's me, who has studied his puppets for 1,000 years, and the Mad Lord's disciple, Kim Yian. With the puppets of the Mad Lord that seem to be from a completely different era in expertise compared to ordinary puppet masters, the idea was to provide significant comfort to the ghostly creatures. However, Yian Wei's response was more intense than I had expected, and just as she anticipated, the promise of puppet bodies caused every ghostly creature to flock to the Wuji religious order. But originally, I just intended to form a moderate sect or establish a new branch. I had no intention of becoming the leader of such a cult. It was only because Yian Wei insisted that founding a cult would be more effective for building the longevity axis that the Wuji religious order was established. Just what is all this? The Palace of Heavenly Demons was one thing, but a religious order. It's not even a pseudo-religious cult. I complain inwardly as I reach out to the followers kneeling before me. I shall bestow my grace upon you, do not refuse it. Yes, cult leader, we believe in thee. Keying, circuits emerge on the bodies of the Jiangxi that have undergone the puppet procedure by Kim Yian. At the same time, their bodies are completely modified into puppets. Hua, what is this power? This comfort. The attraction force of the netherworld has weakened. In addition, I pour the Yin Soul Ghost incantation into the circuits of the puppets. The areas that induce pawn within the puppet structure and circuits operated on by Kim Yian and I are all dismantled, allowing them to only feel the comfort provided by the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. It feels like a body of the living. Moreover, unlike a living body, the process of becoming a deceased is much slower. Cult leader, we shall carry out our duties with utmost loyalty. Having bestowed my grace upon the two fanatics, I nod. Originally at the nascent soul stage, the two Jiangxi's cultivation surged upon receiving the puppet procedure, bringing them to the strength of the heavenly being stage. Since this isn't merely a simple circuit installation but a puppet meticulously crafted by Kim Yian, the resulting amplification rate of power is extraordinary. They will likely possess power comparable to the 4-axis stage when they reach the heavenly being stage. Your precious comrades will be taken care of by the main order. Perform your duties well and ascend once more. Loyalty, Zhang. The two Jiangxi followers shout their loyalty and leap into the void spirit pond without hesitation. Yian Wei crosses her arms with a satisfied expression. Good, the cult is expanding steadily. I heard that the Wuji religious order has already established a foothold in one of the lower realms. And it hasn't even been a month, it's truly an insane speed. I sigh and revert to my human form. Even so, don't you think this is too much like a pseudo-religion? Nonsense. You are already a splendid devilish cult leader. Fulfill your role. But this is all necessary to build the longevity axis. Stop complaining and follow. Just as I'm about to voice my discontent. Wo Wang. Suddenly, the chair I am sitting on begins to glow. The chair, connected to the void spirit pond, is emitting countless spell characters. Seeing this, Yian Wei flinches in surprise, her face lighting up with excitement. Good, we're already getting a bite. Activate it. Wo Wang. At Yian Wei's words, I sigh lightly and activated the formation in the basement. Spell characters hum and float up from the entire basement wall. Sitting on the chair, I focus my mind on the void spirit pond. In the case of the 5 elements axis, all one needs to do is gather materials and perform a ritual at the plane of Qi. And those materials are simply ordinary attributes. For instance, for the water attribute, one can extract the inner core of a water-dwelling demon beast or the nascent soul of a human who has mastered a water attribute method. Then, how does one gather the 5 blessings axis? The method of gathering the 5 blessings axis is quite troublesome. First, it's advantageous to have a large force that extends even to the lower realms. Then, through that force, you spread a ritual that borrows the power of a 4-axis stage cultivator across the lower realms or other various regions and areas. When this ritual is activated in those other regions or areas, or the lower realms, the 4-axis cultivator building the 5 blessings axis connects to that ritual, using the power of the middle realm. Wing. With my eyes closed, I extend my consciousness into the void spirit pond. Pot. Using the world known as the nether ghost realm as an intermediary, my consciousness stretches to places it normally can't reach. Wo Wang. Passing through countless stars, spaces, and dimensions, my consciousness extends to a planet in the astral realm. Wo Wang. Regaining my senses, I find myself facing the spirit of a human from that certain planet. He is a blood-soaked young man who suddenly screams as if he would faint upon seeing me. Hua. Hukua. A cultivator at the Qi building stage, it seems. It appears that my Wuji religious order has successfully taken root on this planet where this cultivator resides, spreading the ritual that connects to me well. Thanks to only dispatching followers at the heavenly being stage, the ritual is spreading quickly. Kua. Heart Essence World. I sigh as I watch this cultivator screaming wildly while staring at me. Thinking about it, it's hard to even be looked at directly upon reaching the 4-axis stage by those who have not reached the nascent soul stage. Moreover, upon closer inspection in this cultivator's heart essence, I am only represented as a shadow of immense power. Well, if I reveal my true form, it wouldn't end with just screaming. If a Qi building cultivator were to directly see my true form, it wouldn't just be a matter of facing a great ghost, they might indeed suffer considerable injuries. Adjusting my presence, I ask the cultivator. Did you call for me? Hu, Hyok, Huayuk. Inside the heart essence world. The Qi building stage cultivator, drenched in cold sweat, speaks to me. O Great One, I performed the ritual to summon you. Can you grant my wish? I look at him and ask. Do you desire power? Yes. Please grant me power. The power to avenge my family. I extend my consciousness beyond the heart essence world of the Qi building cultivator before me and survey the surroundings. He is in a pitch-black cave, performing the ritual and connecting with me while unconscious. Beside him lay a ritual book titled, Wuji Ghost King Ritual Scripture, containing the rights to offer the ritual to me. Throughout the cave, strange spell characters, symbols of the nether ghost realm, and symbols representing me are scattered. Extending my consciousness outside the cave, I hear shouts and cries of, catch the escaped rat. His clan must have been destroyed by another force, and he's asking for the power to escape here and take revenge. Refocusing my consciousness back to the heart essence world, I ask the man before me. Power comes at a price. Anything. I am ready to offer anything. Truly, gathering the 5 blessings axes is unpleasant. Although it's necessary for our circumstances, I ponder whether this method is truly right and ask. Even something precious to you? Yes, yes, I will give anything, just grant me the power. Reaching out my hand to the man before me, I speak. Using the nether ghost realm as an intermediary, I form a contract. The contract will be established. Is this method truly right? This is the way to gather the 5 blessings axes. Taking something precious from the other party, processing it with the power symbolizing the corresponding blessing from the middle realm, and thereby obtaining the concept. After making the contract with the Qi building cultivator, I occupy his body and head outside to resolve his immediate issue. Kugugugu. Outside, everything is ablaze, and dozens of Qi building cultivators are burning the entire area while searching for something. There, it's the escaped bastard. Catch him, catch and kill him, and a few Qi building cultivators spot me and fly toward me. Haha, this clumsy guy, did you somehow manage to escape and succeed in reaching Qi building? Even so, it's only the first constellation of Qi building. Here, we have a renowned elder who is one of the 12 great Qi building masters of the Mingyan continent. Feel the power of a Qi building master. Quote. Translator notes. Mysterious Bazaar is the same word in the Raz as wonderfully mysterious. I thought Mysterious Bazaar fit the meaning better in this case. Chapter 343, The Deceased 5. There's no need to kill them. I slowly draw the attraction force of my main body through this physical body. I'm merely lending this guy power, and whatever he does with it is his own business. There's no reason for me to directly intervene in his personal grudge. Wing. Through attraction force, I gather energy to form a barrier. Although it's hastily made and crude, it's enough to prevent the Qi building master guy from breaking through. Kuurururu. Ku, you, what kind of sorcery is this? Scarlet flames pound against the barrier. What spiritual root does this guy have? Ah, water and metal. But he hasn't mastered both, only reaching chi building with basic water attribute methods. Ignoring the old man who's waving a fire staff and spewing flames above my barrier, I vibrate the spiritual energy within his body. Wo Wang. The celestial energy guidance of the heavenly being stage is ultimately an inferior version of the 4-axis stage's attraction force. Using water attribute, spiritual power as a medium, attraction force manifests on the plane of chi. Kugugugugu. In an instant, the sky begins to darken. Noticing something unusual, the nearby chi building stage cultivators look up at the sky. Rain. And as I stretch my hand toward the sky, shwa, rain begins to fall. Torrential rain starts pouring over the area that has been blazing all around. I fix the phenomenon of celestial energy in the sky. For 7 days and nights, rain will probably fall over this land. Only then does the 12th great chi building master seem to notice something strange, his eyes widening. Wait, your eyes are flipped. Yes, welcoming deity Jia Xian. You're borrowing power from a higher entity. I move the man's body to look around at the chi building cultivators. They flinch and avoid making eye contact with me by looking down, but then they all suddenly get startled. That shadow. It's turning into a monster with 19 heads. Shish, everyone, stay quiet. The 12th great chi building master, indeed seeming more perceptive, doesn't act rashly. He forms hand seals and speaks. Yu Wei, in the end, did you offer your body to such a malicious entity? Get a hold of yourself. Wo Wang, perhaps it's part of a technique. As the chi building master's voice echoes, I feel a stimulation in my consciousness. A type of consciousness method, is it? He's trying to reach the person I've possessed. With my consciousness, I could have prevented the voice from being conveyed, but I let it pass through. Soon after, I feel the consciousness of the man whose body I have taken slightly awakening. Kehi, Yu Wei moves his lips and laughs. What's the matter, old man? Keep attacking. I have successfully connected with a great being and am borrowing their power. Ku, you fool, this is merely a matter between your clan and ours. How could you borrow the power of such an evil otherworldly entity? The old man furiously rebukes Yu Wei with anger that reaches the sky. Come to your senses. Are you really going to bring otherworldly power into this land? What does it matter? If it's land I can't have anyway, it doesn't matter. Ku, did you bring that otherworldly entity here without even knowing what it might do? I won't do anything extreme. I inwardly clear my throat and speak. Let's end the chatter. Leave now. Wo Wang. I reverse the attraction force, converting it to repulsion. Kung, Ku Yu Wei. Think carefully. That being is an evil entity from another world. Most of the chi building stage cultivators are flung hundreds of li away, but the chi building stage master endures to the end, shouting. Judging by his intent, he seems to be genuinely afraid and worried about the presence of me. Do not trust otherworldly beings. I'm saying this not just as your enemy but as a cultivator of the Mingyan continent. Those entities are evil, vicious, and have no tears or mercy. I'm not that bad, though. They are beings that must never be dealt with carelessly. I apply a bit more repulsion force, and eventually, the chi building master can no longer hold on and is sent flying. Not only the chi building cultivators but even the chi refining cultivators causing trouble in the area all flee. I observe Yu Hui's physical body. If it's me, I could immediately elevate him to the nascent soul stage but just by forcefully infusing heaven and earth spiritual energy, that much is possible. But I click my tongue while looking at Yu Hui's soul. If I do that, his soul will shatter instantly. It's already on the verge of breaking just from coming into contact with a strand of my consciousness. Elevating him to even the core formation stage will be difficult. Wo Wang. The best I can do is give him a blessing by activating his energy pathways, making it easier for him to achieve the 28 stars of chi building. I shall take my leave now. And I will take my payment for lending you my power. When it comes to the integration stage or star-shattering stage, they say you can receive much more diverse compensations after lending power. However, for ordinary 4-axis stage cultivators, the compensation one can receive is limited. The 5 blessings are longevity, wealth, health, love of virtue, and acceptance at fate's end. Why does longevity come first among the 5 blessings? The reason is simple. Longevity is the most basic resource for building the 5 blessings axis. To accumulate the axis of longevity, one must receive something precious related to lifespan. So, I take their lifespan directly. The axis of wealth requires something precious related to wealth. And since the longer the lifespan, the more opportunities there are to accumulate wealth, lifespan is also related to wealth. The same goes for the axis of health. Health is life force, which is related to lifespan. Although love of virtue is a bit different, it can also be obtained through lifespan. Therefore, those who build the 5 blessings axis usually take just the lifespan from the majority of people. Of course, the vast majority would take all the remaining lifespan at once after lending their power, but I can't bring myself to do that and only take 10 years of lifespan. Wo Wang. When I open my eyes, the void spirit pond glows brightly with auspicious energy shining within. It's Yu Hui's lifespan. Following Yi and Wei's instructions, I place Yu Hui's lifespan into the formation and offer a simple ritual. O realm Jia of Nether Ghost Ming Gui, I offer the cherished lifespan of a being. Please bestow upon me the blessing of longevity. Show. Wo Wang. The Nether Ghost realm responds, accepting Yu Hui's lifespan. Simultaneously, ghostly energy moves and lodges itself as a ray of light in one corner of my dantian. Pot. This is, should I call it a very small tower? Or rather a toothpick, such a small stick-like object settles next to the axis of wealth in a corner of my dantian. This is the foundation of the axis of longevity. It seems like I'll need to repeat this process about 1,000 times to complete the longevity axis. 1,000 times. One will need to receive a lifespan totaling 10,000 years to establish the axis of longevity. I contemplate deeply while sitting. Taking 10,000 years of lifespan from someone, even if it's little by little, is this really the right thing to do? As I ponder, Yi and Wei clicks her tongue in displeasure. I see you only took about 10 years of lifespan. What realm was the person who borrowed your power? He was in the Qi building stage. What, if you took all the remaining lifespan, it would be 300 years. Where did you squander 300 years worth of lifespan to only bring back 10 years? Yi and Wei grumbles, as if feeling wronged. Well, is there really a need to go that far? What do you mean, is there a need? It's a fair trade they agreed to. Fair, indeed, it might seem fair at first glance if they agreed. But I still don't like this method, and I had decided to take the minimum lifespan needed to accumulate the axis. I nod, letting Yi and Wei's nagging go in one ear and out the other. Understood. I'll think about it next time. You rascal, you're not really listening to me, are you? Egu, she mutters angrily and starts to leave the basement. At that moment, Kuguguging, suddenly, the entire Wuji religious order shakes. I quickly transform into my Ghost King form and sharpen my senses. Yi and Wei glares upward from the basement. Ho ho, it seems intruders have arrived. I'm about to go out and deal with them immediately, but then I remember it's almost night, and sit back on the chair. Stay seated, I'll go take a look at which great fools have intruded. The law protectors will handle them well, so don't worry. At her words, I create a gang sphere clone to assess the situation while I wait. I hope they don't reach this room. Blank, blank. Kugugugugu. Wuji religious order. Within the training grounds of the cult's followers. 3 figures appear. Baek Rin, the White Vein Gate leader, with a body made of white bones. Iamhua, the Shadow Yin Gate leader, wearing a veil of shadows. Wei Shihun, the Death Corpse sect leader, emitting green corpse energy from his entire body. The 3 cultivators at the 4-axis stage step into the training grounds, shuddering. Such wickedness. What have they done to the kidnapped ghostly creatures? Before their eyes, a few ghostly creatures trapped inside puppets are visible. Each ghostly creature has their own specially crafted puppet or cursed doll, making them all have somewhat eerie, grotesque appearances. Stuffing ghostly creatures into those narrow, suffocating cursed dolls. One can clearly guess the insane cult leader's hobbies. Iamhua shouts in a voice filled with rage. They look hideous and terrifying. What kind of twisted mind thought of making such horrid monsters? Wei Shihun screams as he looks at a puppet resembling General Seo. Then, the ghostly creature inside the puppet resembling General Seo shouts back in fury. You bastard! How dare you insult the puppet with the form that our cult leader treasures the most? Wait, you are surely, the Bone Sanctuary sect leader under our White Vein Gate, are you not? Baek Rin recognizes the ghostly creature's voice and is startled. The puppet resembling General Seo, the Bone Sanctuary sect leader, nods. That's right, I was the Bone Sanctuary sect leader. Have you no pride in your sect? How could the leader of a sect betray their superior sect and become the pawn of a devilish cult? Ha! Pride in the sect. I used to have something like that, but my thoughts changed after joining the Wuji religious order. Pride or whatever the such, even the bone sanctuary secrets we teach our disciples is nothing but trash. To truly provide a satisfying life to the sect's disciples who desire a peaceful life, it is most important to join a force that provides good welfare benefits. What kind of welfare did you provide to the sects under your control? Did you not give any benefits? You only took our tribute without offering anything in return, only exchanging promises of protection in times of crisis. Instead of being loyal to you exploitative scoundrels, I have chosen to be loyal to the Wuji religious order, which provides the best welfare, benefits, and a satisfying quality of life. What is this nonsense? You've completely lost your mind under the Wuji religious order's brainwashing sorcery. Baek Rin can only lament the vile acts of the cult as he looks at his former subordinate who has become a fanatic. Step aside. Even though you've become a brainwashed fanatic, I can't kill my former subordinate. I'll give you a chance. Former subordinate my foot. Now that the slave you used to exploit is seeking welfare benefits, you call them a brainwashed fanatic. You filthy exploiters, let's settle this here and now. The Bone Sanctuary sect leader roars in anger at Baek Rin's words. Come here now. Kugugugu. Kagagak. Kagak, Kagak, Kagak. At the same time, the ghostly creatures given puppet bodies by Seo Eun-yun gather at the command of the Bone Sanctuary sect lord. In an instant, the western training grounds of the Wuji religious order is filled with countless cursed dolls. The 3-4-axis cultivators look at the myriad cursed dolls blocking their path with tense expressions. With pale skin and white bones, not the sturdy bodies of Jiangxi, but the stiff, lifeless bodies of puppets. Moreover, they can't control their expressions at will and always wear the same face, making them appear eerily bizarre. As they look at the pitiable ghostly creatures that have turned into puppets, their eyes burn even more intensely. But then, Wei Shihun looks up at the sky. Look here, Baek Rin, Iyamwa. What is it? We don't have much time. If we dawdle here with these creatures, it will eventually become daylight, and the cult leader will descend upon this place. Then, Wei Shihun's eyes shine as he looks at Baek Rin and Iyamwa. I'll hold them off. You two go to the cult leader and cut off the root of this evil cult. Wei Shihun, go on ahead. As Wei Shihun steps forward, his body begins to enlarge. Kugugugu. The corpse energy emanating from his body turns into fur. Wei Shihun transforms into a monstrous beast and roars. Gua. Wei Shihun, now in his beastly form, blocks the cursed doll army, and Baek Rin and Iyamwa steel their resolve, their voices trembling. Wei Shihun, hurry, let's go. This is a precious opportunity created by sect leader Wei's sacrifice. Baek Rin leads Iyamwa quickly through the training ground, entering the interior of the cult. Though Iyamwa seems listless at first, she soon regains her energy and runs alongside Baek Rin. How far have they run within the cult? The two ghostly creatures suddenly notice something odd. Wait a minute, sect leader Baek. The surroundings. I see. It's a formation. Pot. Before they knew it, they were running through a fog-covered grassland. I'll break the formation. You keep watch. Understood. Just as Baek Rin forms hand seals to break the formation. Step, step, someone enters through the mist. Who goes there? Iyamwa shouts, eyes wide at the figure emerging from the mist. And, the figure who appeared from the mist. A woman dressed in light pink palace attire, Kim Yeon, greets them demurely. Hello, I am Kim Yeon, the left law protector of the Wuji religious order. Ku, the mysterious bizarre ghost king. To think we'd run into the most wicked, vile, and cunning being. Baek Rin and Iyamwa are taken aback, and Kim Yeon smiles faintly at them. You two cannot pass through here. Baek Rin and Iyamwa look at each other and nod. We know you are the one responsible for the brainwashing in the Wuji religious order. But that means if we subdue you, we can find a way to break the brainwashing of the innocent ghosts. Baek Rin says, looking at Kim Yeon with a solemn voice. We will defeat you and free everyone from their brainwashing. Chapter 344. The Deceased 6. Wo Wang. Kim Yeon focuses her consciousness with her eyes shining. In front of her are a shadow and a white bone undead. Seeing the two at the 4-axis stage, she assumes a stance. She has just recently risen to the heavenly being stage. Reaching the realm of heavenly being requires immersion in one single concept. So, what emotion is she immersed in? If she had not heard the truth from Seo Eun-yun, she might have vaguely felt that this emotion is love. But after hearing the truth and reflecting on her feelings, Kim Yian realized that the emotion is not love. Then what is this emotion? Kim Yian ponders. This emotion is directed towards Xiao Unyun. But it isn't simply love. Then just what is it? A name. This emotion needs a name. Moreover, this emotion holds the heart of the Mad Lord. And this emotion carries a longing for home. It holds loyalty to her colleagues. To organize her heart. To decide her attitude towards her master. To further solidify her longing and loyalty. Kim Yian wants to name this emotion. By the way, it's surprising. That infamous mysterious bizarre ghost king turns out to be only at the heavenly being stage. Hua and Baek Rin each take out their dharma treasures. Kim Yian remains silent and concentrates her consciousness. She recalls the time when Xiao Unyun taught her martial arts in her dreams. Yian, your talent in cultivation is much higher than mine, but your talent in martial arts is similar to or lower than mine. Hyok, then what should I do? I need to master martial arts to have a chance to escape. Don't worry, I was also a dullard, so I'm confident in teaching you. First, at that time, Xiao Unyun told her, let's endlessly repeat the paired wing dance. Pardon, it might feel a bit tedious, but for those without talent, endless repetition is the shortest path to reach the realm. I know from experience. Since that day, under Xiao Unyun's guidance, she endlessly practiced the martial art called the paired wing dance. Oddly enough, the paired wing dance she learned is quite similar to the movements of the Mad Lord's her. Simultaneously, it resonates somewhat with her wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon, creating a phenomenon where mastering the paired wing dance actually aids her cultivation of the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon. At first, it was so boring she felt she was going crazy. Holding a fan and endlessly repeating the same movements. Of course, at that time, it was far better than being with the Mad Lord, so she gratefully followed the instructions despite not particularly liking the activity. But even that boring activity, as she mastered the paired wing dance and reached a certain realm, began to fade from her memory. The true essence of the paired wing dance is not merely about dancing with a fan, it's about the movements connecting. As long as the beginning and end connect, the lost strength is somewhat restored. That is the true essence of the paired wing dance. As long as the beginning and the end connect, it doesn't matter if she holds a fan, a spear, stands on her head, or spins like a top. But paired wing dance itself lacks offensive power. Therefore, she secretly learned a new martial art behind Xiao Unyun's back. Sirring, Kim Yian lowers her hand. At some point, 4 hidden weapons appeared in her hand. Alongside the paired wing dance created by Xiao Unyun, she learned a new martial art taught by Hong Fan. She kept it a secret from Xiao Unyun. Lady Kim Yian, this martial art is a combination of the dragon form soaring claw and the fighting monster hidden weapon technique. While paired wing dance is well suited to train your wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon, for direct combat, this martial art will likely enhance your power significantly. Ah, thank you. No need for formalities. I am younger than the lady, after all. Ah, yes, still, I will use formal speech. So, what is the name of this martial art? It doesn't have a name. Hong Fan demonstrated numerous martial arts before Kim Yian. Based on the martial arts taught by Master, I created, evolved, and combined various martial arts, including fist techniques, kicking techniques, spear techniques, sword techniques, fan techniques, claw techniques, and more. But, I haven't named any of them. Why is that? Why indeed? I think names are meaningless in martial arts. Maybe I'll name them after integrating all these martial arts. That's impressive. Does Unyun Oppa know about these martial arts of yours, Hong Fan? Ah, it's a secret from Master. I want to surprise him later. Haha, the demon beast of Xiao Unyun with fearsome talent, Hong Fan. The paired wing dance learned from a self-proclaimed dullard, and the martial art learned from a genius. Wo Wang. Inside the formation, Kim Yian's consciousness fills the entire space. Under the pressure of her consciousness, Baek Rin and Hua's faces darken. This is the consciousness of a heavenly being. Unbelievable, could it be that the mysterious bizarre ghost king is a 4-axis cultivator whose cultivation fell? Kim Yian lightly smiles and raises her hand. It appears you have the leisure to speak. Bo-ung. The next moment, Kim Yian's fingertips sweep towards the 2 ghostly creatures. Kwang. The 4 hidden weapons fly like the claws of a huge beast, slashing through the air. Kim Yian's attack, possessing the consciousness of an integration stage cultivator while at the heavenly being stage, amplifies wildly within the formation filled with her consciousness. Ku, just what is? Baek Rin blocks her attack with a Dharma treasure and takes a sharp breath. Kim Yeon lowers her hand. From her fingertips, threads of consciousness flow out, merging with the chi and forming a somewhat substantial chi thread chi-si. The chi threads are connected to the 4 flying knives she has drawn out. Ku, what is that sorcery? Baek Rin exclaims with a terrified expression, and Kim Yeon lowers her other hand as well. Chalong. From her other hand, 4 more flying knives connected by chi threads dangle down. She takes a step forward, swinging the knives connected by the threads. Well, let's call it a claw technique, Jiao Fa, for now. Hu Wang, Quagwagwag Wang, like the swing of a gigantic claw, a total of 8 slashes fly towards the two. Then, Kim Yeon begins to dance. Her dance, scattering countless slashes, appears more beautiful than anything else. Quagwagwag Wang, the formation begins to shake, unable to withstand the slashes. A gap appears in the formation, creating a chance for Baek Rin and Eumhwa to escape, but they can't think of escaping. Even though there's a gap in the formation, there's no gap in her domain. Whenever Kim Yeon's flying knives her claws are swung, slashes scatter. But the slashes also connect again. The slashes continue endlessly, without exhausting their power. Originally, the martial art called paired wing dance was just a technique similar to Seo Eun-yun's endless mountains beyond mountains. But when the capabilities of a heavenly being are added to such a paired wing dance, another characteristic emerges. Kugugugik. Due to Kim Yeon's celestial energy guidance, heaven and earth spiritual energy is drawn towards her. While unfolding the paired wing dance, her energy consumption is almost nil, and as more heaven and earth spiritual energy is drawn to her, her strength only increases. The result is a monstrous technique that grows stronger the more it is performed. The 2 ghostly creatures grit their teeth, unable to find a gap in the increasingly powerful storm of slashes. Ku, we can't be defeated like this. Behind us lies the will of countless ghostly creatures of the White Yin domain. We can't lose to a devilish cultist who brainwashes and forcibly subdues the hearts of others. Kim Yeon chuckles at their words. What do you mean by brainwashing? That's nonsense. Our Wuji religious order adheres to an exemplary and progressive working schedule, not exceeding 40 hours of labor within 7 days, with fair wages paid monthly. We have gained the hearts of our followers through proper welfare and benefits, not by brainwashing. Ku, I don't understand what language you're spouting. It's the words of a wicked devilish cultist. Do not be shaken, sect leader Baek. Ku. However, along with that, countless slashes merge into one, shooting towards the 2 4-axis stage cultivators. Kurg, what monstrous power! What kind of output of power is this? Normally, when martial artists and cultivators fight, martial artists use superior techniques to break through the cultivators' spells, and cultivators crush martial artists' techniques with overwhelming power. But now, a strange scene is unfolding. Kim Yeon's martial arts, influenced by her integration stage consciousness, are pushing the cultivators back with overwhelming power. Baek Rin and Eumhwa use all kinds of techniques and spells, looking for an opening amidst Kim Yeon's slashes. Over there, there's a gap. Quick, escape. Eumhwa and Baek Rin gather their strength. The 2 ghostly creatures combine their power. A massive white bone-shaped mass of energy forms, a dark shadow covering it from above. The gigantic black bone-shaped energy flies towards a point in the formation. Baek Rin recalls the white bone undead who enjoyed their labor with good-natured expressions. Eumhwa remembers the innocent ghosts who always regarded obedience and submission as virtues. The 2 ghostly creatures clasp hands, praying for the peace of the White Yin domain as they draw out all their power. Ta, ha, flash. Finally, the 2 ghostly creatures manage to escape from the realm of the malicious, mysterious, bizarre Ghost King before being swept away by her slash. Kugugugu. Watching the collapsing formation from behind, the 2 hurriedly run towards the center of the Wuji religious order. The devilish cult leader, Wuji Ghost King, is their target. Hugh, Heo Hiok. Baek Rin and Eumhwa run, panting heavily as if they are alive. That place over there. The residence of the Wuji Ghost King. The Wuji religious hall. The 2 arrive at a building covered entirely in a dark curses and gasp for breath. As expected of the devilish cult leader, he wrapped the entire building in curses. Just by looking at it, one can tell it's a wicked curse. Break through it quickly. The 2 ghostly creatures summon forth their strength and hurl their dharma treasures at the building. Quagwagwang. An explosion and a cloud of dust rises up. But what they see next makes Baek Rin and Eumhwa shudder. A large figure is blocking their 2 dharma treasures in front of the Wuji religious hall. Is that the soul-extinguishing Ghost King? It's the right law enforcer. And then, the dust cloud settles. Wait a moment, you are. However, after the dust cloud settles, the two ghostly creatures are shocked to discover the identity of the one blocking their Dharma treasures. The one who blocked their treasures is Wei Shihun, Death Corp's sect leader. What are you doing, Wei Shihun? Could it be? Wei Shihun smirks and raised his arm. Wing. A bizarre circuit on Wei Shihun's body begins to glow. Ah, sorry about this. I was originally going to leave this to the mysterious Bizarre Ghost King or the Six Extremes Ghost King, but the mysterious Bizarre Ghost King let you escape and the Six Extremes Ghost King has other matters to attend to. Baek Rin and Hua look at Wei Shihun in bewilderment. Haha, don't look at me like that. I needed to pretend to sacrifice myself and push you deeper into the order to ensure you can't escape. The two ghostly creatures grind their teeth. Come to think of it, this guy was the one who suggested attacking the devilish cult leader. You led us into a trap. Ha ha ha, I received the cult master's grace. It was truly magnificent. Also, after looking around the Wuji religious order, I found their welfare to be better than ours. I simply made the right choice to provide a better quality of life for our sect's Jiangxi. Woong, Wei Shihun shouts as his circuit glows. Here, look, originally, I am only at the mid-4-axis stage, but after receiving the mysterious Bizarre Ghost King's procedure, and the cult master's grace, I've gained power comparable to the grand perfection of the 4-axis stage. Ha ha ha, Ku, just what are you talking about, Wei Shihun? Weren't we supposed to establish justice in the White Yin domain together? Justice. Justice is providing good bodies and advanced welfare to the frail ghostly creatures in Jiangxi. The Wuji religious order is justice. You should join the Wuji religious order too. You've come this far anyway. There's no way for you to escape now. Woong. Boasting the glowing circuit on his body, Wei Shihun extends his hand to the two ghostly creatures. I'll make a proposal. Since you can't escape, as the one given the position of guardian ghost king of the Wuji religious order, I'll give you a chance. I'll allow you to tour the Wuji religious order and fully experience it. After the tour, decide whether to join. I'm serious. The future of the White Yin domain is the Wuji religious order. Baek Rin and Hua speak furiously. That's absurd. How can you expect us to trust the wicked devilish cult that brainwashes countless spirit creatures? So, sect leader Wei, you've been brainwashed too. Tisk. Foolish. Does not everyone say in unison? It's not brainwashing but positive change due to truly touching the heart. Baek Rin, burning with ghost fire, raises his voice. My friend, how deeply have you been brainwashed? Quote. We can't communicate. Fine, then I'll personally make you kneel and understand the truth. Wing. The circuits on Wei Shihun's body burns brightly. The three ghostly creatures lunge at each other. Woong. Kim Yian lost track of the ghostly creatures, but she continues to form hand seals without a care. That's right, that's right. You're doing well. Next to her, Yian Wei is instructing Kim Yian. Yes, that's how you unfold the formation. With your vast consciousness, you can fully bring out more than 120% of the formation's potential. Yes, I will do my best. As you're not a disciple of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, I can't teach you lighting path methods. However, I can teach you my knowledge on formations. To think you're learning formations this well. You flatter me. Woong. Consciousness threads from the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon extend around Kim Yian, covering the void. Her threads of consciousness cover the void, creating a cage that envelops the entire Wuji religious order. To prevent the intruders from escaping, if I firmly weave the void with consciousness and guide the flow of heaven and earth's spiritual energy to partition the space itself. Keying. Kim Yian smiles as she completes the formation. Ah, it's finished. Yian Wei Nim. Excellent. Hoo, you're quite the impressive one. Yian Wei looks at her with satisfaction, then subtly asks a question. But there's something I'm curious about. Why do you keep following that Seo clan kid? Pardon, honestly, I don't get it. Sure, that Seo clan kid has remarkable abilities, but he has 19 heads, bizarre hobbies, and mentally, isn't he a bit twisted? I heard you liked him since your hometown, but why do you like such a guy? Before Yian Wei can finish speaking, a scene from inside the formation enters Kim Yian's mind. It's the moment when Baek Rin and Hua defeat the brainwashed traitor, Wei Shihun and finally break the curse barrier of the Wuji religious hall. The two ghostly creatures are entering the Wuji religious hall. Ah, they've gone inside. Oh dear, now those two are. Yian Wei clicks her tongue and shows a sympathetic expression towards the two ghostly creatures. Taking advantage of Yeon Wei's distraction as she looks inside the formation, Kim Yeon ponders deeply. When did I start liking Eun-yeon oppa? She naturally recalls her early days at the company. Thinking back to when she first joined the company, Kim Yeon didn't particularly like Seo Eun-yeon. Hello, I'm Jo Soo-yeon, the new intern starting today. I'm Kim Yeon, also an intern starting today. Starting today, Kim Yeon was a bit nervous as she entered the soap company as an intern. Sales Development Department intern. The sales development department of this company had a notorious reputation. Director Jaeon Myung-chul would organize weekend hikes. Deputy Director Kim Young-hoon didn't say much, but Section Chief Oh Yun-sok was known for working people to the bone, and Deputy Manager Kong Min-hee and Jaeon Myung-hoon were, respectively, one gloomy and another, just the worst. But the scariest one was yet to come. Hello, interns. Since it's your first day today, there's not much work to do, so just follow me around and learn. Ah, I'm Supervisor Seo Eun-yeon. You can call me Supervisor Seo. First, check your desks. Supervisor Seo Eun-yeon, with dark circles under his eyes, living on coffee and energy drinks, and always seemingly in a bad mood due to acid reflux, he wasn't an easy person to approach. On her first day, Kim Yeon was immediately targeted by Supervisor Seo. Miss Kim Yeon, can you please follow quickly? There aren't just one or two places we need to check. And it's us who have to manage the inventory as well. I'm sorry. Miss Kim Yeon, how can you drop that? Hurry, move aside. Miss Kim Yeon, never mind, just move aside. Kim Yeon realized quickly, she would be the first to be dropped when the internship ended. Supervisor Seo, he's too scary. With a cup of coffee in hand, muttering, Jaeon Myung-hoon, that bastard, Seo Eun-yeon wasn't someone who seemed approachable at first glance. However, other interns seemed to get along with him quite easily. For the first 3 days, Kim Yeon struggled the most. Should I just leave without completing the internship? At that time, Seo Eun-yeon was known as the hardest worker in the department. In other words, he worked intensely. Assigned under such a person, Kim Yeon felt a deep sense of inadequacy about her own capabilities. Seo Eun-yeon never rested at work. Supervisor Seo, it's lunchtime. Miss Kim Yeon. Go have your lunch. I'll finish this paperwork and join later. Other interns, you can go have lunch too. While others took his word and went for lunch, Kim Yeon couldn't. I have to make up for my earlier mistakes. While others left, she gritted her teeth and finished her tasks to make up for her mistakes. Even when the skin of her stomach felt like it was touching her back, and she felt like dying from fatigue, she endured by drinking 1 cup of the poison-like coffee after another. Seo Eun-yeon would only glance at her as he came and went, without saying much. As the internship period reached halfway like that, the atmosphere had changed significantly. Hello everyone. Yes, hello. Supervisor. Haha, supervisor. Oh. Initially, everyone tried to get close to Seo Eun-yeon, but as the internship progressed, no one wanted to meet his eyes. In the end, the only one still meeting Seo Eun-yeon's eyes was none other than Kim Yeon. Hello, supervisor. Oh, Miss Kim Yeon. Seo Eun-yeon spoke curtly as he looked at Kim Yeon. Good morning. Please deliver this document to the section chief and check the inventory in the warehouse. If you could bring some coffee from the break room on your way back, I'd really appreciate it. Yep, it was because Seo Eun-yeon would give out crazy amounts of work whenever they made eye contact. At first, the others happily took on the tasks given by Seo Eun-yeon, but as their stamina depleted, they began to avoid him. The only one to endure and continue to meet his gaze was Kim Yeon. And eventually, as the internship period drew to a close, all the interns except for Kim Yeon and the one named Jo Soo-yeon had run away. Run, we have to run. Hua, a great ghost. The 2 ghostly creatures who entered the Wuji religious hall began screaming madly, fleeing from inside. Kim Yeon activates the formation with her eyes gleaming. Where do you think you're going? Keying. As the formation activates, countless threads unravel and spew towards the ghostly creatures. Chuaruruk. The 2 ghostly creatures are bound by thousands of strands of white spider silk. Kugugugugu. From within the Wuji religious hall, a giant hand made of curses emerges. Cult leader Seo Eun-yeon is exerting his power. Where are you going? Our honored guests should explore the Wuji religious order a bit more before leaving. Save me. Huaaaaaauh. Coal cultivator Beck. Eamwa, writhing after being caught by Kim Yeon, ignites ghost fire in her eyes as if determined to make a final stand. Wait, Sect leader Eam. What are you trying to do? At least you should escape. Warurururu. Igniting ghost fire all over her entire body, Eam Hwa burns away Kim Yeon's formation and lunges at Baek Rin, burning the threads that bind him. She then pushes Baek Rin out of the formation and throws herself towards the hand of curses created by Seo Eun-yeon. I will, buy some time. Sect leader Eam. Eam Hwa. Hot. The veil of shadows covering the Eam Hwa blocks the curse hand. Baek Rin, shedding tears of blood, breaks free from Kim Yeon's formation and shouts. I will come back to save you. I will save everyone. Clench. The curse hand swallows Eam Hwa, and beyond that hand, she senses the presence emanating the curse. Losing her mind again, she screams. Hua, Kia, Kya, Kia. The hand of curses slowly drags Eam Hwa into the Wuji religious hall. Oh dear, one escaped. Kim Yeon's eyes shine as she looks up at the sky. Shall I go capture him? Wo-ung. As she extends her consciousness, the puppets spread throughout the Wuji religious order rattle. However, Yeon Wei shakes her head and points to the sky. No need. It seems Jeon Myung-hoon has just returned. Kurururung. Above, in the dark night sky, a red lightning bolt flashes towards where Baek Rin has fled. We should head inside the Wuji religious hall. It looks like the cult leader is going to imprison the captive in a puppet. Your strength will be needed to assist with the procedure. Haha. Actually, Eun-yeon Oppa could probably handle it on his own. Kim Yeon heads to Seo Eun-yeon's quarters with Yeon Wei. Aside from the interns who couldn't endure Seo Eun-yeon's harsh workload and fled, only Kim Yeon and one other person successfully joined the soap company. Ah, I really ended up joining. In fact, Kim Yeon agonized deeply over her decision. Even if she persevered at this mid-sized company that felt more like a small business, it seemed pointless. Furthermore, Supervisor Seo Eun-yeon, known as the Labor Devil, would continue to work her hard with his curt attitude. No, let's give it a try anyway. But Kim Yeon gritted her teeth and entered the company. In any case, she was gradually getting used to the work, and she was slowly getting closer to Kang Min-hee. Hence, she decided to stay a bit longer. And on her first day as an official employee, Miss Kim Yeon came. Hello, Supervisor. Seo Eun-yeon. For the first time, Kim Yeon saw Seo Eun-yeon greet her with a smile. Congratulations on joining the company. You've worked hard so far. Oh, I'm saying this because the director and Jeon Myung-hoon aren't here, but to be honest, there are quite a few salary thieves who don't do their job, which causes our work to be a bit intense. That's why I always treat interns a bit harshly to filter them out. Thank you for enduring. For some reason, Kim Yeon felt tears welling up as she looked at the hand Seo Eun-yeon extended. Congratulations on becoming an official employee, colleague Kim. Welcome. Come on in, Yeon. Heading to the basement of the religious hall, Kim Yeon, along with Yeon Wei, see the ghostly creature tightly bound in countless curse spells under Seo Eun-yeon. For now, let's start the procedure. I need your help. Can you take out the puppet materials from the storage scroll? I see. Reflecting on the past, Kim Yeon feels she somewhat understands when she fell for Seo Eun-yeon. Although I started truly liking him during our business trip to the Arboretum, maybe I was swayed from the very first day I officially joined. It wasn't just because the previously harsh boss suddenly changed in attitude. Being needed by someone, perhaps for Kim Yeon, it's that which makes her incredibly happy. Even more, let's continue to grow even more from now on. She makes a resolve to continue growing, to grow stronger, to rise to higher realms. For Seo Eun-yeon, for her colleagues, and even for the Mad Lord. As she reforms the captive with Seo Eun-yeon, she determines to become someone needed by everyone. That is what she vows. Author's note: for parts that might be divisive, I'll push through with more content. It might be a bit dull, but I'll try to wrap it up quickly, so please be understanding. Chapter 345, The Deceased 7. A dark basement. Phew, it's all done now. Good, now it will be complete once we engrave that. A monster with 38 eyes and a woman standing next to it smile at the small doll in front of them. A small doll in the shape of a little girl. And sealed within it is the Shadow Yin Gate leader, Eam Hwa, trembling with rage. You vile devilish cultist bastards, what do you plan to do after turning me into this? Hoo-hoo, don't worry, we won't do anything outrageous. Rest assured, don't worry, as long as you behave quietly, we won't threaten you. Kim Yeon lightly picks up Eam Hwa. Hwa struggles frantically in Kim Yeon's hand, but the sealing spell embedded throughout the puppet binds all her power, rendering her helpless. You should be grateful instead. If you kept remaining as a ghost before the cult leader, you might have truly gone mad. Yi Wei, who has come down to the basement unnoticed, leans against the wall and speaks to Hwa. Even if a ghostly creature within the puppet feels the true death of the cult master, they won't be able to properly perceive it due to interference. The fact that you can maintain a clear mind and not just scream mindlessly is also thanks to the cult leader's grace, so you should be thankful. You devilish cultist bastards, what nonsense are you spouting after turning me into this? Release me immediately. Let me have it for a moment, Yi Wei takes Hwa from Kim Yeon and then throws her somewhere after a brief moment. Wah, where are you throwing me, you devilish cultist bastards? Hik. And then, someone with thick hands catches the thrown Hwa. From now on, the enlightenment of the Shadow Yin Gate leader is entrusted to you, First Guardian Ghost King Wei Shihun. Thank you, strategist Nim. It's Wei Shihun, the Death Corps sect leader who has pledged allegiance to the Wuji religious order. Wei Shihun, you traitor, how could you betray me like this? Hwa squirms and screams in Wei Shihun's hand, but Wei Shihun looks at her with pity. I joined the Wuji religious order for your sake. If you turn your heart to the Wuji religious order, you will receive a proper puppet body and the cult leader's grace, engraved with the circuits, making you even stronger than before. I don't want to hear anything from a traitor who betrayed us for power. Release me at once. Releasing you will come later. For now, let's learn about the Wuji religious order together. Wei Shihun takes Hwa and leaves. Wei Shihun emerges from the Wuji religious hall and carefully holds the struggling Hwa in his grip as he tries to move somewhere. At that moment, Kururung. Suddenly, the sky turns red, and Jaeon Myung-hoon descends next to Wei Shihun. In Jaeon Myung-hoon's hand is a pure white skull. Seeing this, Hwa wails bitterly. Baek-rin, even you. But unlike the sealed Hwa, Wei Shihun notices something and asks Jaeon Myung-hoon. Wait, Chief Law Protector. That skull. Yeah, I lost him. Jaeon Myung-hoon nods indifferently and lifts the skull. At those words, Hwa sighs in relief in Wei Shihun's grip while Wei Shihun frowns. I explained in advance about Baek-rin before. In an emergency, he can abandon his body using the life-saving spell, White Bone Shedding Shell Strategy by Gutuo KGG and escape with only his nascent soul. Jaeon Myung-hoon looks at Wei Shihun. You did indeed say he would abandon his body and escape with his nascent soul. Yes, but how did you lose him? But did you mention that the nascent soul would split into thousands of pieces, and each would use the ground shrinking technique to escape? That's a divine ability that can only be used at the utmost mastery, Jisheng, of the White Bone Shell discarding strategy. Jaeon Myung-hoon clicks his tongue. It seems he mastered the life-saving method without your knowledge to great completion. Well, anyway, it was my first time seeing such a technique, so I was momentarily surprised and lost him. Next time, I won't miss. Despite Jaeon Myung-hoon's words, Wei Shihun can only sigh deeply. It's become complicated now. What's complicated? Baek-rin once did a favor to an elder of the Black Ghost Palace when he was at the Heavenly Being stage. With time, that elder would have become a Black Elder of the Black Ghost Palace. They might support Baek-rin in challenging our sect. After pondering for a moment at those words, Jaeon Myung-hoon smirks. Well, it doesn't matter. We have the cult leader, don't we? Wei Shihun sighs, looking at Jaeon Myung-hoon's absolute trust in the cult leader, and then recalls Seo Eun-yun. A being with 19 heads and 38 eyes. Well, it might be alright with the cult leader. Wei Shihun turns to look at Jaeon Myung-hoon entering the Wuji religious hall, then turns around and takes Hwa to another part of the Wuji religious order. Black Ghost Palace, In the basement of the Wuji religious hall. The Wuji Ghost King Seo Eun-yun is sitting on the cult leader's seat, tapping on its armrest. For now, what does Yi Wei Nim think? Yi Wei shakes her head at Jaeon Myung-hoon's report. There's nothing to worry about. This White Yin domain is a non-aggression zone between Penglai Island and the Underworld Ghost Palace. If the Black Ghost Palace or Flower Painting Western Heaven Palace tries to intervene here, the Underworld Ghost Palace and Penglai Island will block them. They are not kind enough to let a cake they couldn't have go to another big force. On the contrary, if the Black Ghost Palace comes, we might even receive support from the Underworld Ghost Palace or Penglai Island. I see. Seo Eun-yun nods upon receiving the report. Then for now, it's best not to act recklessly and to focus on slowly expanding our forces. Yes, that would be best. Slowly but swiftly leveraging the advantage of the Wuji religious order's puppet offerings to swallow the White Yin domain is our top priority. Even if that Baek Rin fellow brings the Black Ghost Palace, if you're in control of the White Yin domain, they will have no choice but to recognize your dominance and withdraw. Hoo. Understood. Then, for the next 200 years, we'll refrain from rash actions and focus on growing our force and strengthening our position. Having thwarted the intruders, the brief meeting at the Wuji religious hall concludes. Boong. After the meeting, Kim Yeon went to the training ground assigned to her and took the starting form. What can I do to understand what this emotion is? She thought she could simply distinguish it by seeing the colors of intent of the 5 energies converging to the origin. But oddly enough, the color of the emotion Kim Yeon feels is colorless. She can't figure out what her emotion is. Joy is golden, anger is red, sorrow is dark blue, pleasure is silver, love is light pink, hatred is dark red, desire is black. These are the colors she sees in her vision after mastering the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon and reaching 5 energies converging to the origin. Upon reaching 5 energies converging to the origin, she confirmed that these colors merged to become colorless, forming the domain of consciousness. Therefore, this colorless emotion she sees should have been all emotions. But Kim Yeon knows. It's different, it's not all emotions. Although it's the same colorlessness she saw when reaching the 5 energies converging to the origin, she understands that the colorless emotion her own feelings produce is unique and special. What is this emotion? She can instinctively sense it. The day she discovers the name of this emotion, she will be able to see the true color of this emotion. Phew, she repeats the paired wing dance. At the same time, she repeatedly operates the intertwined branches heart method, becoming accustomed to the internal energy method. Wu Wang, the pure spiritual force surges through her meridians at a terrifying speed. Wu Wang, Kim Yeon reaches out into the air. As her hand moves, the pure spiritual force gathers in the air, moving according to her will as she infuses her consciousness into it. This is the initial stage of controlling Gang Qi. It is said that by practicing to infuse Gang Qi into the air and inputting intent into the Gang Qi to move it freely, one can reach the ultimate pinnacle. He said, if I reach the ultimate pinnacle, I'll become overwhelmingly strong. Seo Eun-yun said so. Kim Yeon believes that reaching the realm of ultimate pinnacle where one can directly utilize the power of consciousness will make her incredibly strong. Seo Eun-yun isn't wrong. If she, with her integration level of consciousness, begins to use the acceleration of the ultimate pinnacle, her direct combat power will be amplified unimaginably. However, as she practices the intertwined branches heart method, she wonders. If I become overwhelmingly strong, will I find the name of this emotion? Finding the name of her emotion isn't merely for self-satisfaction. According to the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon, once mastered, there should be no unreadable intent. But there is one intent that she is unable to read. Thus, she hasn't truly mastered the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon. I must master the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon. The Mad Lord has left her a Dharma treasure containing enlightenment. Kim Yeon obtained the enlightenment to combat the Mad Lord from that Dharma treasure, and in order to comprehend the enlightenment, she must master the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon. Yet, she is sometimes confused. Is she trying to understand this emotion for the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon? Or is she trying to master the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon to understand the emotion? Single quote. I don't know. She repeats the paired wing dance. Again, and again, and again. If I don't know, let's just do as Eun-yun Oppa said for now. Even if she doesn't know, he will surely be right. He always has been. With each step she takes, she recalls old memories. Hello, I'm Supervisor Oh Seo, who will be working with you from today onwards. Please call me Supervisor Oh. Shortly after she became an employee, a new person transferred from another department. Her name was Oh Seo, and it was said she was bullied in her previous department. The main perpetrator, a team leader in the management department, had been referred to the disciplinary committee, dismissed, and expelled from the company. Oh Seo, the victim of the bullying, wished to move to another department due to her trauma. Gosh, that must have been tough. Not really. Everyone else was kind, except for team leader IM, so it wasn't that hard. From the first day of her transfer, Oh Seo started talking to Kim Yeon, and they quickly became close without even realizing it. I don't know much about the sales development department, so please teach me well, Miss Kim Yeon. Oh no, I'm just a regular employee, and you're a supervisor. Still, those who have been here longer know much better. Right, Miss Min-hee. Kang Min-hee, sipping coffee, glanced at her and replied with a blank expression. Yes, sure, quote. Heck, your short response makes me sad. Seeing Kang Min-hee not paying much attention, Oh Hae-seo pretended to cry and joked around. Maybe this seemed quite endearing, as the male employees in the department would often playfully talk to her. During lunch, Kim Yeon talked about Oh Hae-seo while eating hamburgers with Kang Min-hee. Min-hee Unnie, isn't Supervisor Oh amazing? Even though she was bullied, she always stays cheerful. Kang Min-hee replied indifferently while chewing on fries. She feels really suspicious. Pardon, why? Well, that team leader from the management department, I saw him apologize to Oh Hae-seo before he left. He apologized for bullying her, saying he didn't know why he did it and that he was sorry for not being considerate. He was crying and seemed genuinely sorry. Why would someone like that bully then? That's what I'm saying is strange. I know team leader a bit, and he's a really kind person. He's soft-hearted, loves animals, and volunteers at orphanages, especially the one supported by SJD, the Orandoran House. The higher-ups thought highly of him, and he was even up for a promotion. So, what would make such a person bully Supervisor Oh? Kim Yeon stole Kang Min-hee's fries and thought. Maybe he just didn't like her at first sight. That's unlikely. Even if you don't like someone at first glance, working together in this company and getting scolded by the boss makes it so you can't help but get close. Anyway, I really don't think there was actual bullying. Then what was it? Well, it was, but where did my fries go? Although she heard some unsettling things from Kang Min-hee during lunch, Kim Yeon still found herself liking Oh Hae-seo whenever she saw her. Actually, Oh Hae-seo was a person who was liked by everyone. Kim Yeon soon forgot all about Kang Min-hee's words and became close to Oh Hae-seo. Moreover, Oh Hae-seo was very capable. Within 3 days of her transfer, she surpassed Kang Min-hee to become the top elite in the department. Before long, Oh Hae-seo and Kim Yeon were calling each other Unnie and Dongsang, an affectionate way of calling someone younger than you. The tasks given by Seo Eun-yeon were always tough, but Oh Hae-seo took on all the difficult ones herself, leaving only the easy ones for Kim Yeon, which naturally made her interact more with Oh Hae-seo than Seo Eun-yeon. Unnie, I've finished this. Thanks. Yeon, you made a mistake here. Oh, I'm sorry. It's fine. It's no biggie between us. Oh Hae-seo would often overlook Kim Yeon's mistakes. But Seo Eun-yeon was different. Colleague Kim, you got the document name wrong. I'm sorry. There are also some small format errors. Did you use the B12 format I gave you last time? Actually, I used a different one. I'm sorry. Quote. I told you to use that format. Why did you use a different one? I'm sorry. Hae-seo Unnie always asked for this format. Redo it. Receiving the document back from a stern Seo Eun-yeon, Kim Yeon pouted slightly as she started over. That's how it was at first. But as time passed, things started to feel strange. Oh my, Yeon, you made a mistake here again. Really? Oh Hae-seo always found mistakes in her documents. But at some point, Seo Eun-yeon stopped saying anything. Thank you. You can go now. Supervisor. Yes. Did I make any mistakes? No mistakes. But someone else said this was wrong. Really? Who? Supervisor Oh. Miss Hae-seo said that. Weird. We all use this format. After briefly flipping through the documents, Seo Eun-yeon shook his head. Kim Yeon, there's nothing wrong here. Maybe Miss Hae-seo pointed out something else. Oh, I guess I remembered wrong. I'm sorry. It's nothing. You've been improving a lot lately and have been very helpful. As her skills improved, Seo Eun-yeon stopped criticizing her. But Oh Hae-seo continued to insist she made mistakes just like the beginning when she didn't, laughing it off. Why? Kim Yeon felt something was off, but she let it go for the time being. However, there was one incident involving Oh Hae-seo. It happened after a company dinner. Everyone was slightly drunk. Kim Yeon, in particular, was a bit tipsy. Before everyone headed their separate ways, Kim Yeon saw Oh Hae-seo following Seo Eun-yeon. What's this? Hae-seo Unnie. She decided to follow Oh Hae-seo. At first, she just intended to say goodbye. But at some point, Oh Hae-seo disappeared. Single quote question mark single quote. As if she had, hidden somewhere in the darkness, Oh Hi-Seo was nowhere to be seen. But her distinctive perfume lingered. Oh Hi-Seo was definitely nearby. This strange situation where Oh Hi-Seo disappeared, her perfume remained lingering on the nose, and its source was near Seo Eun-yun. At some point, as if entranced, Kim Yeon followed Seo Eun-yun to find Oh Hi-Seo. But Seo Eun-yun noticed Kim Yeon awkwardly following him before she could find Oh Hi-Seo. Quote. Kim Yeon met Seo Eun-yun's gaze with a blank expression, mouth agape. Ah, I was only following Hi-Seo Unnie. The situation had turned strange. Seo Eun-yun, slightly taken aback, asked, "What are you doing here?" For a moment, Kim Yeon was at a loss for words. She always found Seo Eun-yun a bit intimidating. And now, it seemed like she had been caught stalking him. I saw Hi-Seo Unnie stalking Supervisor Seo, so I followed her to see just what she was doing. Kim Yeon tried to say that, but what came out was different. Hi, Supervisor Seo, stalking. Seo Eun-yun seemed to process her words for a moment, then responded with a thunderous statement. You were stalking me? No. Fortunately, Seo Eun-yun smiled. Haha, just kidding. It seems you can't speak well right now because of being drunk. Come here for now, I'll help you. So, someone seems to be stalking you, so you wanted my help, right? She wanted to say something, but whether it was from nervousness or drunkenness, she couldn't speak properly. She wanted to explain, but since she couldn't speak, she just let it be. Thud. Miss Kim Yeon. Can you walk? Quote. Woo. I'll call a taxi for you up ahead. Can you walk that far? Kim Yeon felt sick to her stomach. She nodded, indicating she couldn't walk. She felt unjustly treated. She was only following Oh Hi-Seo, but now she was collapsing and being carried in front of a boss she didn't even like. Seo Eun-yun sighed and managed to lift her onto his back. I'll carry you to the bus stop up ahead. I'll call a taxi for you there. Quote. Supervisor, thank you. As Kim Yeon was being carried on Seo Eun-yun's back to the bus stop, a mix of drunkenness and sadness bubbled up inside her, making her emotions boil over. And then, she poured that boiling something onto Seo Eun-yun's back. Thank, Buwig. Kim Yeon, what are you doing? After that, she couldn't remember clearly. Seo Eun-yun screamed in fright, then checked on her several times to see if she was okay. He asked her multiple times where her home was, and when she couldn't answer, he took her to a nearby motel and gently laid her down. I'm going crazy. Will this even wash out? Kim Yeon, lying in the motel bed, murmured in a daze. I'm sorry. It's fine. It can happen, when you're drunk. Get a good night's sleep. I've set an alarm on your phone, so make sure to go to work on time tomorrow. If you really can't get up, at least call in. The room key is next to you. With that, Seo Eun-yun left the room. Although she was very nervous when they arrived at the motel, nothing much happened. Supervisor Seo, really? She thought about Seo Eun-yun as she closed her eyes in bed. Thank you. She soon fell deeply asleep. That night, she had a nightmare. In the nightmare, she woke up to find someone stroking her hair and measuring her fingernails with a ruler next to her bed. That something hummed a cheerful tune, but its eyes, visible in the darkness, were eerily emotionless. A strong scent of roses wafted from the figure. It was the same scent Oh Hi-Seo used. Kim Yeon wanted to scream, but in the dream, her mouth was sealed shut, preventing her from making any sound. The black figure pried open her mouth, counted her teeth, and then disappeared. It was a nightmare she never wanted to have again, but morning came nonetheless. When Kim Yeon recalled what happened last night, she thought she was going to lose her mind. Quote. Should I just die? What did I do to Supervisor Seo? Thinking she wouldn't have any excuse even if she got slapped at work, Kim Yeon went to work with a gloomy expression. But contrary to her expectations, Seo Eun-yun didn't say much. Are you here, Miss Kim Yeon? Yes, Supervisor. Last night, thank you. Well, you seem to be having a hard time, so I just gave some help. Drink in moderation next time. Also, the executive director is coming today, so please organize these charts. Whatever happened yesterday, Seo Eun-yun was still Seo Eun-yun. Nothing had changed much, but Kim Yeon's heart changed a bit that day. Kuwang. Kim Yeon stares at the massive trace of destruction before her. Sirring, the flying knife at her fingertips hums. As if it still has plenty of energy. Recalling old memories, she smiles bitterly. Back then, what did Eun Yun Oppa think of me? Maybe it's because of that incident that he doesn't see her as a romantic partner. But after that incident, Kim Yeon found herself liking Seo Eun Yun a bit more. Previously, Seo Eun Yun was a cold, work-obsessed labor devil who occasionally smiled, but at some point, she started to appreciate his behavior more. Was it because he evaluated her as she was, unlike Oh Hai Seo, who subtly created mistakes that didn't exist? Or maybe it was because she saw him smile more often as her work skills improved. Her feelings for Seo Eun Yun. The first seed was planted on the first day she officially joined the company, but it's clear that the sprout started to grow from that moment. The sprout grew slowly. The sprout became a stem, taking root in the heart and gradually thickening. Reflecting on the past years, Kim Yeon hones her heart and martial arts. As she retraces the past years, her time at the cult also passes. Years go by. Oh Yun-sok regains the nascent soul stage. Countless years pass. Oh Yun-sok reached the grand perfection heavenly being stage from the nascent soul stage. Jaeon Myung-hoon built all of the 5 elements axis, reaching grand perfection 4-axis stage, and Hong Fan reached the mid 4-axis stage, marking the long passage of time. During that time, Kim Yeon's cultivation realm did not advance. The only thing that did advance was Kwakakakakwang. The mysterious bizarre ghost king is exerting their power again. Take cover. Left Law Protector's training ground has been destroyed. The martial arts she had been honing. That was all. Wing. Kim Yeon stands in place, channeling her internal energy. Within her meridians, the intertwined branches heart method constantly rotates and connects as one. Her pure martial arts realm has already reached the extreme of 5 energies converging to the origin. However, the power of Kim Yeon's martial arts is absolutely not just that of 5 energies converging to the origin. Kugugugugu. For a moment, a pinkish glow seems to scatter throughout the entire White Yin domain. Wurururu. The internal energy of the intertwined branches heart method burns through Kim Yeon's entire body. Hu. As she exhales, the pure spiritual forces that envelop her re-enters her body. Ah, no, what is this? Hong Fan, who has run to her training ground, looks at her with a stunned expression. Lady Kim Yeon, just now. Ah, Hong Fan, you're here. Ahaha, I went a bit overboard. That was not the power of a puppet but Lady Kim's own martial arts. Yes, I don't know exactly, but at some point, the output started to amplify immensely. Incredible, haha, I understand you're still at the realm of 5 energies converging to the origin. I'm sorry for worrying you. Egu, it's really broken down. But don't worry too much, I'll handle the fixing with the puppets. Hong Fan stares at Kim Yeon with a bewildered expression for a moment before shaking his head and speaking. Ah, while I did run here in surprise, more importantly, the strategist Nim has called for a meeting. Yeon Wei Nim. Yes, she has called everyone to the Wuji Religious Hall. Not just Lady Kim Yeon, but also all the Guardian Ghost Kings and the Law Protectors. What's going on? Kim Yeon follows Hong Fan with a puzzled look. Shortly after, the Wuji Religious Hall where the cult leader Wuji Ghost King Seo Eun Yun resides. In its basement, several important figures have gathered. Chief Law Protector 6 Extremes Ghost King Jaeon Myung-hoon. Left Law Protector Mysterious Bizarre Ghost King Kim Yeon. Right Law Protector Soul Extinguishing Ghost King Oh Yun-sok. Guardian Law Protector Hong Fan, and other important figures than the 4 great Law Protectors of the Wuji Religious Order. The first Guardian Ghost King, Wei Shi-hun. Starting with the second Guardian Ghost King Eum-hwa, 12 Guardian Ghost Kings also gathered underground. Jaeon Myung-hoon's eyes gleam as he sees Seo Eun Yun's shadow. Seo Eun, no, cult leader. You have also mastered the 6 extremes Yin Thunder body. And it has already reached great completion. Because of you, I couldn't not learn it. Damn it, you should have held, Hua, no. It was an insult that couldn't be held back. Well done, you know well. Honestly, if you had experienced something similar, wouldn't you have lost your mind too? After some small talk among themselves, they fall silent when Yeon Wei finally enters. Seo Eun Yun also stops chatting with Jaeon Myung-hoon, his eyes brightening. Now that everyone is here, let's start the meeting. At his words, all the Guardian Ghost Kings, except for the 4 great Law Protectors, kneel before Seo Eun Yun. After a moment, Seo Un-yun raises his 19 heads and speaks. Enough with the excessive courtesy. Military strategist, explain the reason for the assembly. Yes, cult leader. First of all, everyone. We have some bad news. Yi Yanwei speaks with a hardened expression. Following Yi Yanwei's words, not only the 4 great law protectors, except for Jaeon Myung-hoon, but also the 12 guardian ghost kings are startled. Penglai Island, Underworld Ghost Palace, and Black Ghost Palace have designated our Wuji religious order as a heretical cult, and have declared the cult leader as the public enemy of the White Yin domain. I hold my throbbing head while sitting on the cult leader's seat. I didn't expect it to come to this. It has already been 230 years since we came to the Netherworld. By now, my colleagues have one by one gained combat power fitting of the 4-axis stage or are on the verge of reaching it. I have also succeeded in building more than 70% of my longevity axis. Moreover, branches of the Wuji religious order have spread all over the lower realms, and those borrowing my power are increasing, accelerating the establishment of my longevity axis. However, at some point, the Underworld Ghost Palace and Penglai Island figured out what I was doing through the movements of the Wuji religious order. They discovered that I am building the 5 blessings axis in the White Yin domain, and unlike the 3 major sects, Shadow Yin Gate, White Vein Gate, and Death Corpse Sect, who didn't understand the 5 blessings axis, they are not pleased that I, who knows about it, am in control. In the end, they pressured me, almost like a threat, to join either the Underworld Ghost Palace or Penglai Island. And in that process, Jaeon Myung-hoon killed the envoys from Underworld Ghost Palace and Penglai Island. The reason is that the 2 envoys mocked Jaeon Myung-hoon after witnessing him caressing the hand of Jin So-hae. As a result, the 2 major forces declared me a public enemy. Additionally, Baek Rin, whom we missed previously, brought the Black Ghost Palace to oppose me, ultimately leading me to be designated as a public enemy by the 3 major forces. Upon learning this, Yi Yanwei made a proposal, looking as if she had a headache. Since it has come to this, let's abandon the Wuji religious order. What do you mean by that? You've already built over 70% of the longevity axis anyway, and your influence in the lower realms has grown enough. Abandon the Wuji religious order in the White Yin domain and establish another in a different void spirit pond. Just change the name slightly, and there won't be any problems. What about the followers then? What about them? Do you think you're a real cult leader? Don't get too immersed in the role. No, but you were the one who enjoyed it the most. Nonsense. Anyway, gather the core leadership tomorrow and announce it. I sigh as I recall Yi Yanwei's words. 19 mouths exhale a bluish breath. The guardian ghost kings, who have been trembling with anxiety, stand up and take a listening stance at my reaction. From now on, this cult leader will set the course of action. I glance at Yi Yanwei, who is sending me a look from the side, and speak. The Wuji religious order will not back down. Whether those pig-like 3 major forces come or not, this seat will not abandon this land. I feel sorry for Yi Yanwei, but so what if I've become a public enemy? Crunch. I clench the void and smile. Now, I have enough power to protect those who follow me. I am no longer weak enough to waver between good and evil. Place your trust in me. I will protect you all. Blessed are those who believe. Cult leader, cult leader, cult leader, cult leader, cult leader, cult leader, cult leader. Chapter 346. The Deceased 8. Have you gone crazy? After the guardian ghost kings left, Yi Yanwei glares at me with eyes ablaze. What do you mean by suddenly declaring that you won't back down? Are you planning to use those guardian ghost kings as bait and then have us escape? That's not a bad idea. It's a bit of a waste, but it's rational. Please tell me that's the plan. TSTSTSTSTSTSTs. After releasing my Ghost King transformation, I return to my human Seo Un-yun form. Did you know, Elder Yi Yanwei? What? First Guardian Ghost King Wei Shihun and Second Guardian Ghost King Yamhua are getting married. And so what? The Bone Sanctuary sect leader has recently risen to the position of the 11th Guardian Ghost King and has taken a disciple. His face has been very bright recently. The recently joined puppet instructor has successfully advanced to the Chi building stage and looks quite pleased. Additionally, a follower who joined last time accumulated enough merits within the cult and was granted a small cave residence as a reward. I saw him looking very happy. And, I continue speaking slowly but clearly. This year alone, over 40,000 disciples have joined our religious order, and the voices praising our order throughout the White Yin domain are growing louder. In fact, the followers are even taking charge of public order, so evil spirits no longer run rampant as they used to. Rather, this place now needs our cult. You've completely immersed yourself in playing the cult leader. Have you forgotten our original purpose? Yes, I know. To build the longevity axis. To find the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. And to return. Exactly. We've already found traces of our sect's disciples. We don't have time to waste on babysitting the Wuji religious order's followers. We need to find our disciples. I've thought about it thoroughly. I stand up from my seat and approach Yin Wei. Ultimately, whether it's building the longevity axis, finding the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, or returning to the bright cold realm, they all have one thing in common. Do you know what that is? It's for our own benefit. It's to save our comrades. Why are we trying to rescue the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect? Because they are our comrades. Why am I building the longevity axis? Because we need it to open the side path. Why do we want to return to the bright cold realm? Because only by returning can we find clues to save Kong Minhee. I have no interest in those I haven't given my affection to. I smile appropriately and remain detached appropriately. But if they're comrades I have once given my affection to, I cannot ignore them. The Wuji religious order have already become our comrades. Just like the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. How absurd. How dare you equate the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect established by our founder to this pseudo-religious cult? Jaeon Myung-hoon, Grand Elder Jaeon Myung-hoon. Immediately capture this insolent fool, hang him upside down and beat him. Yin Wei, her face flushed red, points at me furiously. It seems that comparing the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect with the Wuji religious order has hurt her pride. However, Jaeon Myung-hoon merely shrugs. If I fight him, I'm the one getting beaten up. You know that. How can you, as the High Elder of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, turn a blind eye to this outrageous situation, Keek? As Yin Wei starts having a fit, Jaeon Myung-hoon sighs and transforms into red lightning, striking the back of Yin Wei's neck. She, who is borrowing Yin Jin's body, immediately falls unconscious. Wing, a Taiji symbol appears in Jaeon Myung-hoon's hand, and floats above Yin Wei's upper dantian. Divided soul, reversal, pot. The consciousness of Yin Wei residing within Yin Jin is expelled back to the head realm. Please cool your head for a while in the head realm's shrine, ancestor. Well done. Honestly, she was quite noisy. That is true. Well, your words have a point. After all, it's a fact that after nearly 200 years together, we've grown attached to this place. I also promised to be a witness at the Guardian Ghost King's wedding. But Jaeon Myung-hoon looks at me coldly and asks. However, the ancestor isn't entirely wrong. What about the sect's disciples whose whereabouts we've recently discovered? If we stay holed up here, we won't be able to meet them. And if we leave to meet them, the three great factions will attack and destroy our cult. How do you plan to handle that? Don't worry about that. Hong Fan, Kim Yeon. The two people whose names I call step forward. Hong Fan clears his throat and spreads something out in front of Jaeon Myung-hoon, beginning his explanation. Kim Yeon also explains to Jaeon Myung-hoon that she has completed everything I have previously requested. After listening, Jaeon Myung-hoon remains silent for a moment before letting out a hollow laugh. Ha, ha ha, crazy bastard, do you think this is possible? What's impossible about it? Quote. If this really works, Jaeon Myung-hoon chuckles, this cult will become the most renowned power in the Nether Ghost realm. Well, isn't that a good thing? Let's become even more famous and spread the concept of better welfare throughout the entire Nether Ghost realm. Ha, well, fine. Jaeon Myung-hoon chuckles briefly, then turns around. Do as you please. If it turns out as you say, then, it definitely won't matter if 3 great factions come or if 50 integration cultivators attack. Moreover, it will make rescuing our sect's disciples much easier. Jaeon Myung-hoon carries the unconscious body of Yin Jin out of the Wuji religious hall, leaving only Kim Yeon, Oh Yun-sok, Hong Fan, and myself inside. Is there anything Yun-sok Hung Nim needs these days? There's nothing I particularly need. Just secure some space for me when I break through to the 4-axis stage. Yes, I'll prepare it. Thanks. Then I'm off training. Oh Yun-sok waves casually and leaves the basement. As usual, Hong Fan disappears into the shadows and begins to coordinate personnel in the Void Spirit Pond according to my orders. I look at Kim Yeon. And Yeon, yes, I heard you destroyed the training ground again. Oh, I'm sorry. Lately, there's a lot of times when I can't control my strength. Controlling strength. I stare at Kim Yi-in for a moment before asking. Do you still have the same feelings for me? She nods firmly with clear eyes. Yes, they haven't changed. Absolutely. All right, you can go. Kim Yi-in smiles faintly and leaves the basement. I sigh and sit in my seat. The Nether Ghost Realm, like the Bright Cold Realm, has Stable Realm and Chaos Realm. The White Yin Domain, where we are located, is at the southern edge of the Nether Ghost Realm. We have heard that the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect are currently isolated in the northern Chaos Realm of the Nether Ghost Realm. They're collecting the remains of cultivators who went berserk after being eroded by entering Nirvana true persons. Crunch. The Black Ghost Palace has given such a task to the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. They've essentially forced them to investigate a place filled with radioactive materials. The remains of cultivators killed due to the corruption of entering Nirvana true persons are incredibly dangerous but also highly valuable. The Black Ghost Palace must have desired them despite the risk. However, they probably found it too wasteful to send their own forces to such a dangerous place and too frustrating to ignore, eventually pushing the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect into it. I need to rescue them quickly. If it drags on too long, something might happen. It will be soon. The three great factions have designated me a public enemy, and they will soon come to eliminate me. When that time comes, I can shock and confuse everyone and go rescue the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect on the opposite side of the Nether Ghost Realm. Yi and Wei thought I impulsively acted out and complained about it, but in reality, I have been planning this since the moment I became attached to the Wuji religious order. Of course, it lacks secrecy in terms of Yi and Wei's plan and the risk is high, so she would have strongly opposed it even if I had informed her beforehand. Yes, to be honest, there are no problems up to this point. However, I furrow my brows upon seeing Kim Yi-in's recent condition. Hong Fan. Yes, master, how has Yi-in's condition been lately? Her abnormal symptoms have certainly worsened. Hong Fan speaks with a serious expression. I saw her just now at the training ground. She went berserk, unleashing her power uncontrollably and collapsing the training ground. Recently, Kim Yi-in has not been in a normal state. Sometimes she would train in martial arts for days in a dazed, dream-like state, and other times she would be overcome with madness, making the puppets perform the paired wings dance. The problem is that she doesn't remember any of it once she regains her senses. There hasn't been any serious damage as of yet, but I have noticed a kind of madness growing inside Kim Yi-in. Mad Lord, that man. In this life, the Mad Lord had conversed with me in a relatively sane state for a longer time. As a result of that, he sent Kim Yi-in back to me with a rational mind. Moreover, the Mad Lord had even crafted and delivered a Dharma treasure imbued with his enlightenment specifically for Kim Yi-in. I assumed the enlightenment contained in that Dharma treasure would be the same as that in the previous life, which she had imparted, so I didn't bother to look deeply into it. But that became a mistake. Damn it, that man. At some point, Kim Yi-in began to show a strange obsession with the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon. With half-glazed eyes, she would mutter things like, I must find the final color. I must call its name, and repeatedly recite the formula of the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon like a madwoman. It's clear that the Mad Lord of this life has deliberately inserted madness into the Dharma treasure alongside his enlightenment. By the time I asked Kim Yi-in to give me the Dharma treasure so I could re-examine it, she had already dismantled and destroyed it. From her words, the structure apparently required dismantling the Dharma treasure to receive the enlightenment of the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon, so there was no helping it. In normal circumstances, I would have used the spirit sealing bodkin or the sea of righteousness and mountain of grace to mend Kim Yi-in's mind. However, when she confessed her unchanged heart to me just a moment ago. In such moments, the madness completely vanishes, and she becomes perfectly lucid. Currently, Kim Yi-in's state is a mix of parts taken over by madness and parts that are completely sane. If I recklessly try to mend her mind, the sane Kim Yi-in might be sealed, leaving only the madness-filled Kim Yi-in. I can only wait until the madness fully takes over before mending her mind or hope that Kim Yi-in overcomes it on her own. You said Kim Yi-in went berserk and destroyed the training ground with just martial arts. The training ground that I, Yi and Wei, and Kim Yi-in herself combined strengths to set up the protective formation for. Yes, despite not gathering heaven and earth spiritual energy through celestial energy guidance or anything similar, her power surged greatly in an instant. I recall the look in her eyes when she confessed her feelings. Those incredibly clear eyes. I remember what lay beyond those eyes. When she had those eyes, for a fleeting moment, it seemed like her heart essence was unified. Perhaps, if she overcomes this madness, she might reach entering heavens beyond the path. Though she aims for ultimate pinnacle, the heart tribe doesn't necessarily need to pass through the ultimate pinnacle when awakening manifestation, so theoretically, it isn't impossible. Overcome it, Yian Ah. The current Kim Yian is like a child lost in a forest. The forest is crawling with knife-wielding bandits, making the situation look very dire. But in her hands is AK-2 assault rifle, fully loaded and set to automatic fire. So if the conditions align, she can become incredibly formidable. A situation where if she just fires, there will be no danger. It's already in your hands, Kim Yian. Although I've been guiding her in martial arts to draw out her power, there's always been a sense of unease. But if she eventually awakens her abilities, Kim Yian will grow dazzlingly. Still, I've confirmed all the formations that Lady Kim Yian set up throughout White Yin Domain. Nothing will hinder the operation. All right, that's enough. I lean back on my seat and close my eyes. Within my vast consciousness domain, I sense Yimhua and Wei Shihun preparing for their wedding ceremony at a location of the Wuji religious order. The brief peace is coming to an end. Soon, many powerful figures from the three great forces will storm in. There is no fear. Be ready to activate it at any moment, Hong Fan. Yes, Master. White Yin Domain is now almost entirely swallowed by the Wuji religious order. Branches of the Wuji religious order are established throughout White Yin Domain, and over 90% of the spirit creatures in White Yin Domain are followers of the Wuji religious order. Moreover, news from the Wuji religious order's headquarters spreads across the entire territory through its branches via the installed relay spells. Hey, did you hear? The rumor that the first Guardian Ghost King is getting married. Yes, and the second Guardian Ghost King is the partner. Indeed, those two were a match made by the heavens even before joining the Wuji religious order. They couldn't be together before because they had to take care of their respective sects, but now that they're free from those responsibilities, they're finally tying the knot. Haha, that's quite satisfying to hear. The wedding of the first Guardian Ghost King Wei Shihun and the second Guardian Ghost King Yimhua is exactly that. The entire White Yin Domain is abuzz with excitement at the news of these two spirits finally coming together after hundreds of years. Wuji Religious Order Headquarters. In front of the Wuji Religious Hall. There, the two spirits are about to be united. Jaeon Myung-hoon, cloaked in pitch-black ghostly energy in accordance with the traditions of the White Yin Domain, presides over the wedding with a chilling voice. Do you, groom Wei Shihun, swear not to devour her, not to banish her spirit, or to exorcise the bride Yimhua? I swear. Wei Shihun, using the circuits of his puppet body to compress and transform into a handsome figure, stands wearing the traditional attire of the White Yin Domain, nodding with a flushed face. Do you, bride Yimhua, swear to stay with groom Wei Shihun even if he is purified, to face great ghosts together, and to remain together even if dragged to the netherworld? I swear. Yimhua, clad in traditional attire and housed in a beautiful puppet body, faces Wei Shihun, blushing with the circuits on her face. Do you two ghostly creatures for 100 years, 1,000 years, and beyond 10,000 years, pledge to be each other's paired wings and intertwined branches? Both ghostly creatures nod in unison and shout. We swear. Good. Then I, the chief law protector of the Wuji religious order, the Six Extremes Ghost King Jaeon Myung-hoon, bless the union and connection of these two lovers and proclaim that they now share the same fate. Ku-gu-gu-gu-gu. Jaeon Myung-hoon scatters the curse spells contained within the Six Extremes Yin Thunder body into the air. An eerie ghostly wail echoes through the air, and the multitude of ghosts attending the wedding let out scream-like cheers. Kia, long live the Guardian Ghost Kings. Long live the Wuji religious order. Kia, long live the couple. Countless ghosts laugh heartily, some rattling in cursed dolls, and a ghostly feast is held in front of the Wuji religious hall. As it is the wedding of two guardian ghost kings of the Wuji religious order, Jaeon Myung-hoon, along with Oh Yun-sok, Kim Yian, Yi Jin, and others attend to offer their congratulations. Among them, Kim Yian has the role of capturing the wedding ceremony of the two guardian ghost kings using image spells. Woong. Kim Yian furrows her brow as she records the event into the record book. It's strange. Recently, her emotions have been excessively tumultuous, and there have been times when she felt strange. However, there have been no major issues so far, and Seo Eun-yun also encouraged her, saying that such phenomena will disappear as she reaches higher realms of martial arts. But as Kim Yi-eun watches the happy couple getting married, she feels something welling up inside her chest. Especially when Jaeon Myung-hoon recites the wedding vow, a phrase traditionally spoken across various dimensions and realms. Pledge to be each other's paired wings and intertwined branches. Hearing that phrase, Kim Yi-eun feels a strange scene flash before her eyes. Look, Yi-eun, this is the paired wings spear. It's a strange scene. A woman is dancing with short spears in both hands. The dance is strikingly similar to the fan dance that Seo Eun-yeon has taught her. Throb. No. Kim Yi-eun momentarily feels as if her mind is merging with the someone in that scene, and she shakes her head. This isn't me. Throb. Reflecting on her past, she reaffirms her own identity. She often reassures herself of her identity by reflecting on her past, feeling as if she is becoming someone else. I need to grow faster, even more. With a determined look in her eyes, she feels the urge to master the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon even more. And so, the wedding ceremony of Eum-hwa and Wei Shi-hun concludes. Finally, we are together, Eum-hwa. It's something I never imagined before. Eum-hwa looks at Wei Shi-hun with loving eyes and smiles. Quote. It would have been nice if Baek-rin could have also given us his blessings. Quote. Indeed, if I hadn't let Baek-rin escape back then, could we all have been happy together? My heart always aches when I think of that guy. I wanted to share happiness with him too. Ah, mysterious bizarre ghost king, thank you for the recordings. Wei Shi-hun takes the record book from Kim Yi-eun and falls into thought. Seeing this, Eum-hwa makes a bitter expression but suddenly claps her hands as if she has a good idea. Ah, I have a good idea. What is it, Eum-hwa? Well, territory of the Black Ghost Palace, Ghost River Domain. In a branch of the Black Ghost Palace. Next to the ominous Nether crossing ship emitting ghostly energy sits a mountain range. And within that mountain range lies a cave residence. The cave residence of Baek-rin. Finally, Kugugugu. Inside the cave residence, Baek-rin absorbs the ghostly energy emanating from the Nether crossing ship, his eyes burning with ghost fire. I have regained my former realm. He has restored the cultivation he had lost through using the white bone shedding shell strategy. He smiles with satisfaction. Now, I have the minimum qualifications to negotiate with the Black Ghost Palace. I just need to ask them to invade the White Yin domain. Even if it takes some time, if I slowly explain to them that evil heretical cult, they will surely help for the sake of peace in the White Yin domain. He clenches his fist with a hopeful voice. I will definitely save. As Baek-rin solidifies his will, something knocks on the barrier in front of his cave residence, drawing his attention. What is it, Wang? With a gesture, he brings the object knocking on the barrier towards him. That day, a record book arrived before Baek-rin. Chapter 347, The Deceased 9. Ghost River Domain, a branch of the Black Ghost Palace. Within a Nether crossing ship, the captain of the ship in blue Grand Elder, Cha-jo Gwi, admires his garden while tilting a skull-shaped cup. Observing the withered flowers and trees lining the garden, carrying the unique charm only found in the Nether Ghost realm, he chuckles softly. Judging by the ghostly energy of heaven and earth, it seems that friend Baek-rin has found his breakthrough. He speaks to his lieutenant beside him. When he returns, that guy will once again try to persuade us to invade the White Yin domain. How do you think he will convince us this time? The lieutenant, a female ghost dressed in mourning clothes, ponders for a moment before speaking. He will probably explain the dangers posed by the cult established in the White Yin domain, logically detailing how this cult poses a threat to the entire Nether Ghost realm. He might also mention the benefits of acquiring the Void Spirit Pond of the White Yin domain while suggesting that attacking the White Yin domain would dent the pride of the Underworld Ghost Palace and Punglai Island, which consider the domain their inviolable territory. Tisk, it's weak, too weak. Although I listened to him due to the favor received during the Heavenly Being stage, honestly, such flimsy arguments won't persuade the palace. Perhaps, if he persistently continues to make the same argument for 500 or 600 years, the palace might see his will and dispatch a small force but. Indeed, that seems likely. Cha-jo Gwi takes another sip of his drink and asks. Then, in your opinion, what would it take for the palace to grant his request? Perhaps if he hands over all the secret arts of White Vein Gate to the palace, swears to become a slave of the Black Ghost Palace, and expresses his willingness to participate in the experiment, then it might be possible. The experiment involving the erosion under the gazes of entering nirvana true persons. Tisk, the higher-ups are overly obsessed with pointless endeavors. Where can we find a lunatic willing to be voluntarily corrupted? Even the slaves hesitate to participate despite the promise of liberation. Haha. So, in essence, it is practically impossible. Indeed, it seems so. Now, how should I deal with this friend who will keep coming to me, whining for the next 500 or 600 years? As Cha Jo Gwi tilts his cup again, a loud explosion erupts. Kwang. Dust clouds rise from one corner of Cha Jo-gui's garden. Just in time, clicking his tongue, Cha Jo Gwi speaks to Baek Rin, who emerges from the dust cloud exuding menacing ghostly light. Yes, congratulations on recovering your realm, my friend. As you requested before, I've spread the rumor that the Black Ghost Palace will soon designate the Wuji religious order in the White Yin domain as a heretical cult and move to exterminate them. However, as I mentioned before, it's just a superficial rumor. To truly persuade the palace, it will take several hundred years, so there's no need to rush. Let's have a drink together and I will offer everything from the White Vein Gate. And I will become a slave of the Black Ghost Palace. If that's still not enough, I will endure anything, everything. A crimson-red ghost fire blazes in Baek Rin's eyes. In his left hand, he holds a crumpled record book. Please, I beg you. Please exterminate that monstrous devilish cult that devoured my comrades. Cha Jo Gwi stares blankly at Baek Rin. For a moment, then meets eyes with his lieutenant. For now, contact the palace. Emergency. Emergency. In the basement of the Wuji religious hall, my 38 eyes gleam with light as I remain in my Ghost King transformation. A follower Wuji religious order with a cursed doll body runs to me and reports. Currently, from the north of the White Yin domain, the Black Ghost Palace is moving a nether crossing ship with 3 blue Grand Elders and 30 black Grand Elders towards the White Yin domain. See Cult Leader, it's an emergency. We've received news that from the south, the Underworld Ghost Palace is moving 1 Integration Ghost King and 10 4-axis Ghost Kings towards the White Yin domain. Cult Leader, Penglai Island is advancing from the east with 1 Integration Ghost King and 15 4-axis Ghost Kings towards the White Yin domain. Tap. Tap. I tap the armrest of my seat. Which force moved first? The Black Ghost Palace. So, the Black Ghost Palace's movement incited the others to act. Yes, but all 3 forces are currently coming with the pretext of exterminating the heretical cult in the White Yin domain. So, they plan to wipe us out first and then have a 3-way battle amongst themselves for the White Yin domain. Ghost fire ignites in my eyes. 5 at the integration stage, 55 at the 4-axis stage. Moreover, the Black Ghost Palace is bringing a nether crossing ship. The Underworld Ghost Palace and Penglai Island are also expected to bring something equivalent. I smirk. That's sufficient. With this much, it's enough to carry out the grand plan. Do not be afraid. I will protect you all. I rise from my seat. Hong Fan, the time has come. Prepare yourself. Yes, Master. Hong Fan approaches the Void Spirit Pond and begins connecting the Void Spirit Pond to the Dragon Vein of the White Yin domain using the attraction force previously prepared. Boom, boom, boom. I pass by the followers and exit the basement of the Wuji Religious Hall. Boom. Upon reaching the front of the Wuji Religious Hall, I use a voice transmission talisman to call the Chief Law Protector, Left and Right Law Protectors, and all the Guardian Ghost Kings. Assemble. Kuurururung. Jaeon Myung-hoon, with 6 shadows trailing behind, descends from the sky amidst flashing red lightning. Next, accompanied with rumbling footsteps, Oh Yun-sok approaches in his giant transformation while emanating purple aura. Click, click, click. Kim Yeon appears, carried on a palanquin held by numerous cursed dolls. Even Yeon Jin, who had been sleeping, comes running in a hurry. Flash, flash, 12 guardian ghost kings, emitting ghostly energy, line up before me. Everyone listen, I shout, my 38 eyes gleaming with light. Kim Yeon relays my voice, linking with the formations installed throughout the White Yin domain to spread my words. Currently, 3 of the 4 major forces of the Nether Ghost Realm, Underworld Ghost Palace, Penglai Island, and Black Ghost Palace, have designated us as public enemies and are coming to exterminate us. I feel the entire White Yin domain tremble at my words. However, I continue, undeterred. Heed my words. Koo-goo-goo-goo-goo-goo. 6 shadows erupt from beneath my feet. Crack, crackle, the shadows imbued with black lightning. Those shadows contain my death aura. Kwang, when I stomp my foot, the shadows beneath me spread across the entire White Yin domain. During the day in the nether ghost realm, no one can perceive my death due to the gazes from the sky. However, through the 6 extremes yin thunder body, I can indirectly, very subtly, emit my deathly aura. Sha, the ghostly creatures of the white yin domain covered by my shadow fall silent in an instant. Though they can't directly sense my death, they instinctively feel fear and quiet down. If I revealed more of my death aura, they would go berserk and flee the white yin domain, but I managed to control it just enough to prevent that. A specter is haunting the nether ghost realm. Flinch. The expressions of Jaeon Myung-hoon, Kim Yeon, and Oh Yun-sok become a bit strange, but I continue speaking without concern. That specter has many names. It is nothing other than what you are feeling right now. The first name of the specter is Violent Death and Untimely Demise, Eng Si Yao Zhe. You have all met violent death, have all met untimely demise, becoming ghostly creatures with a grudge and reaching the nether ghost realm. Still, you have always tried to avoid the attraction force of the netherworld because you wanted to live proper lives. However, even in the nether ghost realm, it was always difficult to escape the attraction force of death. You feared the day you would be pulled by the attraction force to the netherworld for judgment. That is why our cult provided you with physical bodies so that you could enjoy stable lives. The second name of the specter is Disease Ji Bing. You no longer have physical ailments because you are already dead. However, at the moment of death, you harbored a deeply ingrained grudge, becoming ghosts wandering the 9 heavens. That deeply ingrained grudge is the disease of the heart. I, too, have harbored such a grudge several times. While I cannot understand your grudges completely, I can understand your pain to some extent. Where does the grudge of you ghosts come from? It comes from the life you have lost. That is why our cult has accommodated you so while limited, you can find a semblance of true life. The third name of the specter is Anxiety, Suffering from Concern, Yu Huan. You, or rather, us all, cannot help but fear our fate. Unless we are special beings, we must always face our death at the end of our fate. Knowing that death, that terrifying thing which causes us to lose everything, is our final destination, anxiety is born. Therefore, our cult has provided the maximum welfare and benefits to help you forget this anxiety even if only for a short while. The fourth name of the specter is Poverty Pin, the fifth name is Weakness Ruo, and the sixth name is Hatred E. The fourth, fifth, and sixth are the same. Our cult has improved your impoverished circumstances, provided strong bodies for the weak, and ensured fair governance to prevent hatred from blooming. Heo Gwak once said to me that the 6 extremes yin thunder body is a devilish art that no one has ever mastered. Yes, we have given you as much as we could. But, I will speak honestly at this moment. All of that was merely for my own self-satisfaction. All of that was merely a drug to momentarily hide your pain. All of that was merely a deception we provided, a brief and fleeting tease. The 6 extremes Lu Ji are said to be concepts opposite to the 5 blessings. However, unlike the 5 blessings, the 6 extremes have no corresponding axes. The axes of the 6 extremes are nothing more than imaginary concepts. Just like the concept of ultimate pinnacle created by the martial enthusiasts of the previous head realm. The 6 extremes yin thunder body is a delusion, Wangshang trying to realize an imaginary concept. That's why no one could ever master it. When I practiced according to the formula of the 6 extremes yin thunder body, I instinctively knew. Whether it's me or Jaeon Myung-hoon, this method could never be fully mastered. Therefore, it could never surpass the completed method of the Taiji quaking lightning body. Simply put, it was merely my own arrogance and imagination. That I presumptuously judged and arbitrarily provided what I thought might be needed by you, the residents of White Yin Domain. Perhaps I, and the Wuji religious order, have wielded arbitrary violence and irresponsible power under the pretext of eradicating this specter with 6 names that haunts the nether ghost realm. There must have been those who were dissatisfied with the Wuji religious order's rule over the White Yin Domain. Some may have felt it was tyranny. I fully accept all of that. Surely, our methods were tyranny and oppression to some. Therefore, I will not force you. I repeat. Now, the Underworld Ghost Palace, Black Ghost Palace, and Penglai Island, the 3 major forces of the Nether Ghost Realm, have declared the Wuji religious order of White Yin Domain an enemy and are coming to exterminate us. Hear this. We are a heretical order, a devilish cult that has tormented you under the pretext of a possibly non-existent ghost. Therefore, escaping this devilish cult to pursue liberty now that the 3 major forces are at our doorstep is not a sin or betrayal. The puppet bodies we gave you can still be used for a long time with proper maintenance. Those who do not wish to experience another violent death and untimely demise should escape from the White Yin domain. We will not pursue you, nor will we force you. Once again, escaping from White Yin domain, ruled by this devilish cult, is not a sin or betrayal. Everyone, protect what is precious to you. The concept of pa in opposite to blessing, fu, is merely the indication of the absence of blessings. It is not something with substance. That's why the 6 extremes yin thunder body can never be mastered. But I have been tormented by this unsubstantial something all my life. This thing that torments us despite having no substance is indeed the true specter, the true great ghost. That is why I only wish that this unsubstantial ghost will not harm my precious ones. As when you became ghostly creatures, do not experience the pain of losing something again. Only the mad who wish to arbitrarily chase away the ghost wandering the nether ghost realm with their own methods with this crazy cult leader. Yes, I am merely someone struggling to chase away an unsubstantial ghost. Stay here, I am merely someone out of their mind, haunted by a ghost. I am merely a foolish deceased. Translator notes, a specter is haunting the nether ghost realm, is a reference to, a specter is haunting Europe, from the Communist Manifesto. Chapter 348, Devilish Cult 1. Kugugugugu. Under the dark sky of the nether ghost realm, a gigantic ship moves. The ship is named, Nether Crossing Ship, meaning it could even cross the Nether Crossing River of the Netherworld. One of only 49 in the Black Ghost Palace, a replica of a certain immortal treasure. At the bow of that replica of the immortal treasure, a blue Grand Elder with the cultivation at the integration stage, Cha Jo Gwi, turns around with a sparkling gaze. Are you ready, Beck Rin? Quote. Yes, I'm prepared for everything. TCH, I definitely tried to stop you several times. It was clearly you who decided to undergo the experiment. To defeat a monster, I must become a monster myself. That devilish cult leader is also a fanatic influenced by the erosion of a true person. I will defeat him in the same way. Foolish fellow. Fine, do as you wish. More importantly, Yu Hai. Yes, Captain. Cha Jo Gwi looks at Yu Hai, a maiden ghost dressed in white with a cultivation at the Grand Perfection 4-axis stage, and asks. Where are the other 2 who came for support from our palace? One is down below, and the other has possessed one of the crew members of the Nether Crossing ship. Cha Jo Gwi looks where? Yu Hai points. Under the starlight, the shadow of the Nether Crossing ship is moving along with the ship. One is moving by merging with the shadow, and the other is what? Possessing a crew member. Why do they live like that? Just come out and have a drink, tisk. Clicking his tongue, Cha Jo Gwi stops paying attention to the 2 blue Grand Elders. Anyway, I didn't expect the palace to support us with 2 blue Grand Elders. As Cha Jo Gwi clicks his tongue, Wang, the eyes of Yu Hai, standing next to him, turn red. Sururuk. Yu Hai's shadow, reflected in the starlight, transforms into that of a demon ghost with a dog's head. In fact, our palace intended to secure the identity of the White Yin domain cult leader by dispatching blue Grand Elders at an appropriate time. We were planning to abduct the cult leader within the next 10 to 20 years. Upon hearing this, Cha Jo Gwi clicks his tongue and speaks to Beck Rin. See, Beck Rin, we could have just waited 10 or 20 years. Quote. It doesn't matter. What this person mentioned is about abducting the cult leader, not exterminating the cult. My goal is to exterminate the cult and save my comrades. The entity possessing Yu Hai chuckles. That's right, our palace had no interest in anyone other than the cult leader. But since we now have a volunteer, we've generously formed an extermination team as well. Cha Jo Gwi asks as he takes a drink. What exactly is that cult leader that the palace wants to secure him so badly? Didn't you just hear? He is suspected to be a being corrupted by a true person. Hearing this, Cha Jo Gwi frowns. Currently, the mission teams dispatched to the Chaos Realm are only collecting remains that have been corrupted. This time, we confirmed that the true person trying to corrode this fellow is friendly to us through several sacrifices. However, we have no idea what kind of existence the true person eroding the devilish cult leader is, so is it right to capture him and risk provoking a true person? Regardless, you know yourself that true persons can never intervene in the middle realms. We don't know why, but there is definitely a reason they are so cautious. Even if a true person get angry, there's nothing they can do. We all know it's more urgent to secure as many beings influenced by true persons as possible and find a way to connect to the Nether Crossing River before the end. HMPH, just a vain dream, well, fine. Arguing about this won't get us anywhere. Anyway, Cha Jo Gwi glares at the entity possessing Yu Hai and says. If you've said everything, get out of my lieutenant's body. Touch my woman again, and I'll tear your mouth apart. Hee hee, you're quite violent. Wang. After a while, Yu Hai's eyes and shadow return to normal, and she rubs her head with a puzzled expression. Did something happen? Nothing special. By the way, is that the white yin domain? Cha Jo Gwi gazes into the distance from the bow, seeing a bright white light. Wang. A semi-transparent spherical barrier is covering the entire white yin domain. A formation? No, it's someone's method. It must be that cult leader's. He looks around with interest. Across from Cha Jo Gui's gaze. Beyond the sphere covering the white yin domain, a pitch-black mountain comes into view. The Penglai Island folks, since we brought the Nether crossing ship, they brought the Five Elements mountain. Kiki, they sure must have suffered. And the underworld ghost palace. Beyond the Five Elements mountain, a gigantic, bizarre monster is crouching. A monster modified from the vestiges of the interdimensional void, was it called by me? They said it was created in collaboration with another dimension and it's on par with the Nether crossing ship in the Five Elements mountain, so they brought it here. Cha Jo Gui's eyes gleam. Even though the cult leader has accepted the erosion of a true person, he's at most at the Grand Perfection 4-axis stage. The real concern is the war with the two factions after the cult is exterminated. Yu Hai, activate the Nether crossing ship's cannons. Prepare the ghosts used for the cannonballs, and drop the anchor to connect with the dragon vein. Kugugugugu, an overwhelming aura emanating from Cha Jo Gwi, befitting an integration stage ghost king, envelops the white yin domain. Soon, the integration stage ghost kings from the underworld ghost palace and Penglai Island also emit their auras, watching Cha Jo Gwi and the Nether crossing ship. As the three forces are about to clash. Flash. In an instant, a multicolored light flashes from the center of the white yin domain. And then, from the decisive weapon prepared by the underworld ghost palace. Boom. Heavenly lightning flashes from Bai's body as it collapses to the ground. Kuo-o. Bai, writhing in agony, lets out a maddened roar, and panicked voices echo from the underworld ghost palace's side. Kugugugugu. Kia. Simultaneously, above the sphere covering the white yin domain, a ghost king with 19 heads rises up. Below the ghost king, millions of curse scripts and bizarre flower gardens begin to bloom. Cha Jo Gwi clicked his tongue. Ha, is it because it's a monster corrupted by a true person? At that level, it's at least at integration strength. However, it doesn't matter. No matter how strong, there are 5 blue Grand Elder level Ghost Kings, 55 4-axis Ghost Kings, and the Nether crossing ship, 5 Elements Mountain, and the momentarily paralyzed Bai. In total, it's equivalent to 15 integration stage cultivators. Kugugugugu. The anchor of the Nether crossing ship connects with the dragon vein below, absorbing the nearby ghostly energy. Wang. As the Nether crossing ship rotates sideways, its cannons aim at the cult leader. Fire the cannons. Flash. The Nether crossing ship's cannons fire. Simultaneously, an attack imbued with the energy of the 5 elements is launched from the 5 elements mountain of Penglai Island. The integration stage Ghost Kings of Underworld Ghost Palace also unleash their attacks, and an enormous explosion obscures the figure of the devilish cult leader, Seo Unyun. Next to Cha Jo Gwi, a Ghost King enveloped in shadows and another one possessing a crew member approach to watch the explosion. It's nothing special. See, I told you there was no need for me to come. It's overkill. The Blue Grand Elder, specializing in possession, laughs while inside the crew member. To die without even getting a chance to show my dark soul possession true devil method, it would have been a great opportunity to boast about the strongest devilish method that crosses the plane of the soul. Now, then, let's collect the cult leader's body and determine how to handle the aftermath in the White Yin domain with the other. Splat. At that moment, something, from within the explosion strikes the Blue Grand Elder possessing the crew member, causing him to stumble and collapse. Cha Jo Gwi and the Shadow Elder show signs of confusion. In the crew member's shadow, a shadow with a dog's head is impaled by a sword-like object. How? The plane of soul. The next moment, boom, the crew member's body explodes. And the Blue Grand Elder, who had been laughing with them until a moment ago, evaporates without a trace. ... Silence falls over the Nether crossing ship. Meanwhile, the underworld ghost palace's side grows noisy. Kugugugugu. Heavenly tribulation boils up within the coughing and swelling Bai, causing it to explode. Boom! Cha Jo Gwi, the Shadow Elder, and Baek Rin look at the explosion with trembling eyes. From within, the Ghost King with 19 heads slowly walks out. The Ghost King has no injuries on its body. Konglai Island's side, not yet grasping the situation, seem poised to attack the cult leader once more with the Five Elements Mountain. However, Cha Jo Gwi quickly makes his decision. Raise the anchor. Retreat. Clank. The anchor is swiftly pulled up into the nether crossing ship. Cha Jo Gwi tries to turn the nether crossing ship around to escape. However, the cult leader is one step ahead. Great Desert to Dead Sea. Kugugugugu. A spherical canopy beneath the cult leader begins to shine, unleashing an immense suction force. His suction force devours the attack from the Five Elements Mountain entirely. It also begins pulling the fleeing nether crossing ship with overwhelming power. Cha Jo Gwi grits his teeth. Damn it, are you saying we have to fight? I, with ghost fire radiating from 38 eyes, survey my surroundings with a diversified view thanks to the increased number of eyes. The underworld ghost palace seems to have some connection with the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, as the monster named by looked exactly like what I had seen in the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. But maybe because it was fed with more nourishing things, it was much bigger and imposing. It retained characteristics similar to the vestiges of the interdimensional void. And the vestiges of the interdimensional void have the trait of self-destructing when hit with a strike at the third stage of manifestation that's no different from heavenly tribulation. The underworld ghost palace is in complete chaos and fear. Moreover, the Ghost King who had mastered a method involving the plane of soul, was as expected instantly shattered to death by my all-heaven sword, which fully exists within the plane of soul. Perhaps sensing this significant reduction in power, the Nether Ghost Palace tried to escape while Punglai Island, with some misplaced confidence, continued their Five Elements infused attacks from the mountain-shaped Dharma treasure. But it's futile. Great Desert to Dead Sea. Kugugugugu. I eat clean the attack from Punglai Palace while pulling in the fleeing nether crossing ship with attraction force. Wo Wang. The energy absorbed through the Great Desert to Dead Sea flows into the prepared formation. The dragon veins of the entire White Yin domain are further stimulated. 1/10 is filled, but it's still not enough. More power is needed to carry out the grand operation. Now, come forth. If you dared to step onto our land recklessly, abandon any hope of leaving safely. Do not flee but come confront me. Due to my speech, the number of followers in the Wuji religious order have decreased. About half of the ghostly creatures have left the White Yin domain. However, those who remain with me are burning with a fighting spirit beneath this place. Though our power is halved, our morale has doubled. Make this more enjoyable for me. I shout thunderously at the integration stage ghost kings of the three major factions glaring at me. Kugugugugugu. In the distance, a colossal mountain infused with the energy of the Five Elements begins to rise into the sky. The mountain splits into 5 peaks, which then flip upside down. 3 4-axis stage ghost kings are each holding onto a peak of the mountain. Kugugugugu. Simultaneously, a ghost king imbued with the ghostly energy of the 5 elements throughout its body charges at me. Flash, flash, flash. The black ghost palace side fires cannons at me, and an integration stage ghost king formed from shadows hurls a scythe of shadows at me. Wing. I draw forth the colorless glass sword from one of my mouths. 3,000 colorless glass swords begin to dance at my feet. Transcending cultivation formation, Yu Shu Gen. Open. Pying. 3,000 swords simultaneously vanish using the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts. I wield the all-heaven sword and swing at the 5 elements ghost king charging at me from the left. With the halo of the 3 great ultimates shining behind my head, I focus my eye-mind. The shadow scythe thrown by the shadow ghost king, the 5 elements mountain, the 5 elements ghost king, the nether crossing ship's cannon. There is a point where all these attacks can be cut in one stroke. Draw it. The Heaven Tribe and Earth Tribe gather information in different ways. The Heaven Tribe uses short-term foresight, while the Earth Tribe uses something akin to inference, through the flow of heaven and earth spiritual energy. Then, how does the Heart Tribe obtain information? What use are their eyes that read emotions in battle? Frankly speaking, the Heart Tribe's eyes do not offer significant help against such overwhelmingly powerful beings. What good is foreseeing the path of an attack? The overwhelming difference in power means it cannot be blocked, and the integration stage cultivators have attraction force, making it unavoidable. Such things can also be read through the short-term foresight of the Heaven Tribe and inferred through spiritual energy by the Earth Tribe. Thus, for the Har tribe and martial artists to fight against these beings, something different is required. Wu Wang, my upper dantian heats up as if it's about to explode. Draw it. It's not foresight of the future. It's not rational inference. It's simply drawing the scene they desire. Then, to reach that scene, they pour all their strength into displaying their martial arts. Yes, manifesting Ju Xian, the reality one desires. That is the power the Har tribe must develop to contend against the heaven and earth tribes that possess immense strength and consciousness. Bo Wang, severing mountain swordsmanship. First move, transcending peaks. A simple horizontal slash, but within the trajectory of that one strike, all attacks are drawn in and cut away. Kugugugu, the 5 elements mountain, as it falls, is suddenly deflected. The Ghost King of Penglai Island's upper body is severely slashed and forced to retreat. The cannons and scythe from the Nether Crossing ship are cut apart and scattered. I blocked the first strike. But it really starts now. Sutsu, the great desert to Dead Sea that I have activated devours the power of the other forces that have just been repelled. However, the Ghost King of Penglai Island regenerates their body, and the Nether Crossing ship also gathers its energy once more. Moreover, the Ghost Kings of the Underworld Ghost Palace are now showing signs of entering the battle. The 8th move of severing mountain swordsmanship, Secluded Valley, is a technique that deflects attacks, while the 9th move, landscape painting, scatters sword marks in all directions. When these two moves are combined, they scatter attacks in all directions while deflecting the opponent's attacks. Quagwagwagwagwa, the sword energy of the All Heaven's sword dances widely across heaven and earth, scattering the attacks of the Ghost Kings charging at me. The 13th move, Joy of Mountain and Peaks, scatters sword energy omnidirectionally at the opponent. The 15th move, Layered Mountains, splits sword energy and scatters it like a thorn bush. Quack, the All Heaven's sword seems to extend, grinding the charging Ghost Kings of the Underworld Ghost Palace into nothing in front of me. I combine my moves. I transform them. I apply them. My sword Jian is a storm. It's a wave, and at the same time, it's a great mountain. It's a lofty cloud, and also a single blossoming flower. This is the formless sword. At the same time, it is the sword of all heavens that combines all changes and hues. Countless transformations of the All Heaven's sword seem to coalesce within my grasp, then explode in an instant. Severing mountain, a message from someone to cut through any great mountain before me and move forward. Quagwagwagwang, thousands, tens of thousands, millions of sword strikes unfold in an instant and erupt at once. At the same time, one of the peaks of the 5 elements mountain is completely cleaved away. Kugugugugu. In an instant, one peak turns to dust, and the Ghost Kings of Penglai Island look at me with bewildered expressions. Why are you like this? Wu Wang. You haven't even faced the sword formation, so why are you standing there stupidly? Is this the end? Entertain me more. Then, the transparent transcending cultivation formation activates, scattering storms in all directions. This is insane. What is that monster? Which damned fool reported that maniac is being only in the grand perfection 4-axis stage? Cha Zhou Gwi, lacking even the energy to use spiritual speech, screams out loud. Kugugugugu. The ship is being torn apart by something transparent. They tried to escape, but the spherical barrier sucks them in with a maddening force. They can't resist either. That something, unseen and unfelt, storms around the monster, literally grinding anyone and anything that approaches. Cha Zhou Gwi grits his teeth and shouts at the Shadow Ghost King. I will send the signal. Let's deploy our domains. It won't be enough for just the two of us to deploy our domains. All the integration stage cultivators here must deploy their domains simultaneously to trap him. Cha Zhou Gwi screams at the integration stage Ghost Kings of the Underworld Ghost Palace and Penglai Island. The integration stage 5 elements Ghost King of Penglai Island, who had initially fought at the forefront against the devilish cult leader, is now desperately trying to flee as far away from him as possible. Everyone, we must join forces, Cha Zhou Gwi shouts. But the integration stage Ghost Kings of the Underworld Ghost Palace and Penglai Island only scream and ignore him. Damn it, I'm saying if we combine our strength, we can catch him. You cowards. Then you deploy yours first. Then we will follow. Cha Zhougui's face turns red with anger, but he grits his teeth and forms a hand seal with the Shadow Ghost King. Open Kai, Kugugugugu. Centered on Cha Zhou Gwi, his domain unfolds. The domain rapidly expands to encompass the entire White Yin domain, trapping the devilish cult leader. The Shadow Ghost King's domain also overlaps with Cha Jogui's, beginning to pressure the devilish cult leader. Kugugugugu. The movements of the devilish cult leader slow down. Only then do the expressions of the Ghost Kings of Penglai Island and the Underworld Ghost Palace brighten. Haha, seeing that he can't resist against the domain, he's not really at the integration stage. He's just scum who gained power from the erosion of a true person. Now witness the true power of the integration stage. The domains of the Ghost Kings from the Underworld Ghost Palace and Penglai Island overlap further. The 4 integration stage Ghost Kings prepare their ultimate skills within the combined domains. Cha Jo Gwi forms a bow with a ghost head and compresses energy to form an arrow. The Shadow Ghost King creates a giant scythe made of shadows. The Ghost King of the Underworld Ghost Palace forms the shadow of a monstrous beast with 108 heads, and the Ghost King of Penglai Island forms a ghost bird holding the power of the 5 elements in one hand. Quarurik, Quaruk, Clang, Clang. The 55 4-axis stage Ghost Kings who accompanied them also use their attraction force to suppress the devilish cult master with restrictive spells and curses. Die, you evil devilish cult leader. And then, the devilish cult leader, Seo Unyun, laughs. White Orchid by Lan, Pot. Around him, countless white flowers begin to bloom amidst the numerous sword strikes. The next moment, the world turns brilliantly bright. Chapter 349, Devilish Cult 2. A pure white sky and earth. Inside, Cha Jo Gwi experiences a horrific feeling as if even his screams are disintegrating. My domain. It's being torn apart. He grits his teeth and contracts his domain. If my domain is destroyed, it's truly over. I'll die. Kugugik. He decisively abandons pieces of his domain and retrieves it. To the ghostly creatures belonging to the Yin domain, the power of blessing incantations of the vanquishing evil and upholding righteousness are truly devastating. As expected, it is indeed an old monster eroded by a true person. Despite the agony that feels like his entire body is being cooked, Cha Jo Gwi contracts his domain to prevent his own dissolution and steps before the nether crossing ship to prevent his subordinates from ascending, Sungbul passing on. Surrounding himself with such pitch-black death and mastering such brutal devilish arts, yet wielding a vanquishing evil and upholding righteousness method like this. I've never heard of such a thing. It's impossible. He is an incarnation of death with 19 heads. Logically, it's nearly impossible for a being that is practically the manifestation of such devilish arts to concurrently master a method of vanquishing evil and upholding righteousness. Therefore, there is only one possible conclusion. This is a power that has been injected. It's a power gained from being corrupted by a great true person. Kua, despite his entire body cooking, he stands firm in front of the nether crossing ship. The white flash that seems like it would last forever finally fades. Quote. Cha Jo Gwi looks around, observing the black smoke rising from his body. He can no longer feel the gaze from above. Is it night now? But it's strange. Even though it's night, no. Even though it's the nether ghost realm, everything around is so bright. A blue sky. Most ghostly creatures do not originate from the nether ghost realm. Most of them come to the nether ghost realm after wandering the 9 heavens upon death from the lower realms. As such, they remember what a blue sky looks like. Cha Jo Gwi stares stupidly at the blue sky. The surroundings are dyed blue from the pure white light emanating from the sky. And the surroundings have become a desert. Ah, I see. Cha Jo Gwi collapses to the ground as he understands the situation. Because of the devilish cult leader's power, the vicinity of the White Yin domain turned into a desert. The eerie vanquishing evil and upholding righteousness that he used caused the sky to brighten and turn blue. Thud, he looks behind him. The magnificent ship that had been floating in the sky. The nether crossing ship is now buried in the sand without emitting any more ghostly energy. Focusing the power on the shield must have drained the energy source in an instant. At that moment Cha Jo Gwi realizes there is a large shadow in front of him. Ah, no, it isn't a shadow. It's a pit, a blue sky, an endlessly sprawling desert. At its center, an indescribably huge pit has formed. Cha Jo Gwi trembles. That pit was where the White Yin domain had been moments ago. The devilish cult leader had covered the area with a spherical barrier using his method. Cha Jo Gwi looks at the sky with trembling eyes. The sky has turned blue because of the light emitted from above. Then, what is the source of the light? Yes, the light source is the White Yin domain. The White Yin domain is emitting light of blessings, floating in the sky and dyeing it blue. Activating formation, connection to the void spirit pond complete. Condensing dragon vein complete, floating formation operating normally. Formation charge is 120% complete. Ready to cast at any time. Wo Wang. I face Hong Fan, who is fiddling with the attraction force of the void spirit pond. Next to him is Kim Yian, who commands the formation and oversees the formation masters gathered from all over the Wuji religious order. As I sit on the cult leader's throne, I manipulate attraction force while beginning to speak. Hear my words, remaining followers. Wu Wang, thank you for joining this mad cult leader's goal. From now on, our Wuji religious order will embark on a long journey with the White Yin domain. This entire area you live in will become a sky island, drifting far and wide like the place I once lived, spreading the name and teachings of the Wuji religious order across the world. At the center of the White Yin domain, the headquarters of the Wuji religious order. At the Wuji religious hall at the center of the Wuji religious order. Sitting in the basement of the religious hall, I survey the entire White Yin domain with my vast consciousness. The formations set up over the years move the dragon vein of the White Yin domain, lifting it into the sky. Just like the sky island of the human race's territory. And, like Ascension Path. The Ascension Gate of Ascension Path. I conceived this plan inspired by it. The Ascension Gate created by Yang Su Jin is influenced by the spiritual energy of Ascension Path. It is intertwined with Ascension Path itself through attraction force. Similarly, I connected the entire White Yin domain to the Void Spirit Pond using attraction force and the Dragon Vein. Now, this land will become the sacred ground of the Wuji religious order. This White Yin domain, which will be reborn as a new land, needs a new name. From now on, this land will be known as the Sky Island, Twilight Domain, Guang Yin Yu. Kugugugugu. I, on the seat of the Wuji religious hall. At the center of all formations, I reach into the void. Kugugugek. Attraction force moves. The floating formation lifting the entire domain is merely using the power of the Dragon Vein. The power created by absorbing the attacks of the integration stage grand cultivators with the Great Desert to Dead Sea has yet to be used. Then how exactly should that power be used? This is now the beginning. Pajik, Pajijik. Next to me, Jaeon Myung-hoon folds his arms with an amused expression as red lightning crackles. Are we leaving now? Yeah, let's go rescue our comrades. It's time to rescue the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect. Realm Annihilation Ground Shrinking Formation, Jia Suo de Gen. Activate. Kugugugugu. Cha Jogui's expression changes. This is crazy. That insane cult leader, just what is he trying to do? He, who has suffered a fatal injury with his domain torn apart, can do nothing even if the devilish cult leader is planning something. It's when he looks up at the White Yin domain floating in the sky with a pale face. Kikikikik. A chilling sound echoes, and he sees the space tearing apart. And from inside, it emerges. Kwaggg. It's a giant, spewing red and black lightning from its entire body. The giant, with 6 arms and 6 shadows on its back, tears through the space and locks eyes Cha Jo Gwi. Wah what? Who are you? He has a startled expression, but the giant of red lightning ignores Cha Jo Gwi and focuses its gaze on someone behind him. I missed you that time. Haha, I'll make you share the same fate as your friends. Kugugugugu. The giant extends its hand towards the nether crossing ship behind Cha Jo Gwi. Cha Jo Gwi realizes the giant's intention. Damn it, it's targeting Baek Rin. Baek Rin, run away. Before his voice can finish echoing, a pure white light bursts forth from the nether crossing ship, forming a massive white skeleton. Even though it's frustrating, I have to escape again. White bone shedding. You think I'll let you go again? Kwaggg. In the next moment, the 6-armed giant. The 6 Extremes Ghost King Jaeon Myung-hoon transforms into lightning in an instant. Kwaggg. Before the gravely injured and immobile Cha Jo Gwi can do anything, Jaeon Myung-hoon transforms into a red lightning that covers heaven and earth. He becomes a giant net. Red lightning heavenly tribulation Kai Lei Tianga, Indra's net Yin Tuo Luo Wang. Kwaggg. The net, made of red lightning, spreads out as if covering the heavens. The nascent souls of Baek Rin, shattered into thousands of pieces, let out screams akin to wails. 6 Extremes Ghost King, Kua, Cha Jo Gwi, lifting his critically injured body, tries to shake Jaeon Myung-hoon's net with his faint attraction force. You, bastard, devilish cult scum, release my friend, HMPH, you're annoying. Kwaggg. Kuog. Cha Jo Gwi is ultimately struck by the red lightning and flung far away. At that moment, Ku, damn it, let me go. Huek, Captain, please save us. In Cha Jogwi's eyes, he sees several ghostly creatures caught in the net of the Six Extremes Ghost King. As Jeon Myung-hoon tries to capture the Baek Rin who split into thousands of pieces and is attempting to flee in all directions, his net inadvertently catches other ghostly creatures as well. Among those caught in Jeon Myung-hoon's net are Cha Jo-gwi's lieutenant, Yu Hai, and several other crew members. Cha Jo-gwi shouts with fury in his eyes. You bastard! You vile devilish cult scum! Release my comrades immediately. Apologies. As we will be leaving soon, I have no leisure in controlling my strength. I'll drop them off at a suitable place, so do not worry. Kwagggg. Jeon Myung-hoon pulls the net towards the spatial rift he has emerged from. The Sky Island emits a strange wave and begins to slowly move forward. Yu Hai, Cha Jo-gwi's lieutenant, grits her teeth and creates a small gap in Jeon Myung-hoon's net. Kwagggg. Yu Hai, escape quickly, Cha Jo-gwi shouts. But Yu Hai throws the other crew members out first. The net is gradually being pulled into the spatial rift along with Jeon Myung-hoon. Yu Hai, Cha Jo-gwi, drenched in blessings and lightning, forcefully drags his trembling body into the air. At the last moment, Yu Hai manages to free the last crew member from Jeon Myung-hoon's net. And finally, Jeon Myung-hoon, along with Yu Hai and the Baek Rin divided into thousands of pieces, is pulled into the spatial rift. Yu Hai looks at Cha Jo-gwi and smiles. Captain, it was an honor to serve you. Chiiit. And Jeon Myung-hoon closes the spatial rift. Cha Jo-gwi flies madly towards the Sky Island that is gradually moving, emitting light from the sky. Even though the Sky Island radiates pure white blessings, he does not care. Cha Jo-gwi's body is burning. Yu Hai, no, Wo Wang, but the Sky Island is gradually accelerating. What once moved at a snail's pace seems to accelerate tenfold with each breath. Wing, Pa Gggg. As Cha Jo-gwi finally reaches out towards the veil of light emanating from the Sky Island. Flash, the Sky Island emits a blinding light and disappears in an instant. Cha Jo-gwi can only stare blankly at the gradually darkening void. He felt the space folding. Yes, it's the ground shrinking technique. However, it isn't a simple ground shrinking technique. It's an incredibly immense distance that even cultivators at the integration stage can't cover in one go. A ground shrinking technique that jumps over hundreds of thousands of li in a single move. Cha Jo-gwi trembles with a vacant expression. Yu Hai, Baek Rin, his lieutenant and lover captured by the devilish cult. And his old friend Baek Rin. Hua, under the sky of the Nether Ghost Realm, which is returning to its original state, Cha Jo-gwi screams madly. Wing, I can feel it. That this entire twilight domain is leaping through vast space-time. Rather than the ground shrinking technique, it feels more like spatial teleportation. Kugugugugu. I indirectly feel the immense pressure of space-time and laugh. Realm Annihilation Ground Shrinking Formation. It's a formation developed by Kim Yeon, who was taught about formations by Yeon Wei, Hong Fan, and myself, given knowledge on the Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void Formation that explodes space using the Void Spirit Pond. The Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void Formation fundamentally explodes by distorting space. And the ground shrinking technique of the 4-axis stage cultivators unfolds by temporarily compressing and folding space to move. Hong Fan came up with the idea of combining the two. The Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void Formation is the crystallization of human vice. After deploying this embodiment of vice, I assimilated with my curses. Then, using the White Orchid Blessing incantation, I reverse the vice along with the curse. Doing so transforms the Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void Formation from a mere formation for destruction into one with a different purpose. The reversed Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void Formation by Hong Fan became a formation meant for the ground shrinking technique. By absorbing power when fighting the integration stage Ghost Kings with the Great Desert to Dead Sea and injecting it into the vice-embodied Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void Formation, the formation charges up. Then, by assimilating the Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void Formation with my curses and reversing it, it transforms into the Realm Annihilation Ground Shrinking Formation. In this way, the immense power of the Realm Annihilation Heavenly Void Formation instantly converts to the ground shrinking technique, allowing us to travel distances that are normally impossible. Flash, Kugugugugu. We finally reach the first destination of the long and short Realm Annihilation Ground Shrinking Formation. 6 more steps to go. The Realm Annihilation Ground Shrinking Formation is designed to perform the ground shrinking technique 7 times in total. It's impossible to traverse such immense distances all at once, so after each step, we need to create a gap to cool down the formation's overload. First destination reached. We have moved 200,000 li from the original position in the White Yin domain. Excellent. When is the next formation activation? In 1 day. Good. We will hover at the first destination. For a day to let the formation's overload cool down. I look around the entire Twilight domain. The formations laid out everywhere. And the countless followers of the Twilight domain who remain. The followers are connected to the dragon vein of the Twilight domain to support the formation. Excellent. I smile, satisfied with the sight. Those who wanted to leave are gone, and those who remain became even more loyal followers of the order. Just as I am feeling pleased. Seo Eun-yun. No, cult leader. I have captured the one who got away last time. Jeon Myung-hoon approaches with a satisfied expression, holding a white bone spirit creature in one hand. Ho ho, I see. So you are Baek Rin. I've heard much about you from Wei Shihun and Eumhwa. I laugh heartily as I speak. Once we reach our final destination, I will let you explore our cult and grant you treatment and grace. Baek Rin seems to shudder but speaks in a defeated voice. Do as you please, devilish cult leader. Haha, send him to Wei Shihun and Eumhwa. The guardian ghost king couple will treat him well. Jeon Myung-hoon nods. Then, scratching his head, he speaks. Well, actually, the problem is, aside from the original target of the guardian ghost king's friend, I accidentally captured another one as well. When Jeon Myung-hoon gestures, a maiden ghost in pure white mourning clothes, tightly bound by lightning ropes, is dragged in front of the cult leader's seat. I accidentally caught one of the 4-axis cultivators aboard the Nether crossing ship. What should we do with this one? I gaze at the ghost in mourning clothes with a gleam in my eyes. The ghost glares at me, clenching her lips. Kill me, you devilish cult leader. Translator notes. Guangyam, aka Guanjiam, Guangyin, translated as twilight, means sunlight and shade, metaphorically referring to the passing of time as day becomes night. It's part of the idiom Guangumiosi Guangyin Rushi, meaning day and night passes like an arrow, or time flies like an arrow. Chapter 350, Devilish Cult 3. Single quote. So, you're affiliated with the Black Ghost Palace. Honestly, even though I've been doing devilish cult-like things, I have no intention of continuing to be the public enemy of the Nether Ghost Realm. Anyway, it's necessary to have a conversation with the Black Ghost Palace to find out about Kong Minhee's condition. I decide to use this ghost as a means of contact with the Black Ghost Palace. A distinguished guest has arrived. Escort her to the special room. I will personally give her a very special treatment. At my words, the puppets within the religious hall move and grab her. The ghost, dressed in mourning clothes, cries out with a tearful and humiliated face. I have pledged my entire being and body to the 30th Nether Crossing Ship Captain, Cha-Jo Gwi. I will not be tainted by the likes of you. Coot. There seems to be a serious misunderstanding between us, but she won't believe anything I say in this situation anyway. I gesture with my chin for them to take her away and then close my eyes. Wu Wang. I had already built 70% of the longevity axis. 7,000 years of lifespan. I just need to gather 3,000 more years, and the longevity axis will be complete. Moreover, with the Wuji religious order now infiltrating various places in the lower realms, the speed at which sacrifices are being offered is gradually increasing. Just like this. Chut. I feel the sacrifices being transmitted through the void spirit pond and extend my consciousness. This place. My consciousness arrives at a decaying corpse realm. Unlike the head realm, this decaying corpse realm has abundant heaven and earth spiritual energy and is quite vast. I extend my consciousness, following the voice that called me from one corner of the decaying corpse realm. A secluded valley. Chills. As I extend my consciousness into the valley, I feel an unsettling chill from somewhere. Regardless, I find and enter a hidden cave within the valley. Wu Wang. I flow into the body of a boy. Within the boy's heart essence. I face the boy. Did you call for me? The boy speaks to me in a trembling voice. Yes, O Great One. Please lend me your power. Without me even asking, he immediately begins to explain his circumstances. I am an experiment of a devilish cultivator. The boy's name is Ham Jin. He's an orphan from a rural village. However, while he was living fairly well by begging, His village was attacked and destroyed by a band of thieves. The thieves burned the village and captured all the beggars for human trafficking. Unfortunately, he was sold to a devilish cultivator. He calls us disciples, but in reality, he only bought us to use as experiments. He has no intention other than to exploit us. I have heard his plans. He intends to seize our bodies to extend his own lifespan. Thus, you have called for me. Yes, please save me. I will offer you whatever you desire. You have called me knowing the price, correct? No matter the cost, it would be better than having my body taken and dying miserably at the hands of that monster. Good, then, it's when I'm about to accept the boy's lifespan and grant his wish. Single quote. Wait, something feels off. I speak to the boy. First, step out of this cave. Pardon, do as you are ordered. I move the boy's body to exit the cave. Outside the cave is a large valley. There are small holes scattered throughout the valley, and each of these holes have traces of people. It seems that the devilish cultivator had dug numerous cave residences in the valley to manage his disciples. But something concerns me more than those cave residences. This valley. While I didn't pay much attention as I descended into the boy's body, I noticed something peculiar while accessing his heart essence and reading some of his unconscious memories. Do you know how this valley was formed? Is there any legend or myth you know about it? Ah, I've heard that long ago, a green god descended from the heavens, split a turtle in half, and created this valley. That's why it's called the Split Turtle Valley Ki-Gui-Gu. I survey the boy's cave residence with my consciousness. Entrust your body to me for a moment. Pardon, if you lend me your body for 1 meal's worth of time 30 minutes I will bestow upon you a very special ability. Ah, understood. The boy nods at my proposal, and I take over his body, approaching the sacrificial altar he used to worship me. Quadududuk. I split the altar and sharpen it using heaven and earth spiritual energy. The broken pieces of the altar soon form a wooden padao. Wu Wang. I gather heaven and earth spiritual energy to form blade energy and envelop the padao with it. Then, quagwagwagwick, I swing the padao, slashing at the boy's cave residence. Kwagggg. Since it's a careless slash, the power is negligible. At best, it leaves a small groove in the boy's cave residence. However, after seeing the groove, I turn my gaze back to the valley. Then, I place my hand on the rock formation that constitutes the valley. I can feel the energy of the dragon vein flowing inside the valley. That dragon vein resembles the blood vessels of a living creature. Ordinarily, such a dragon vein would never form. A valley created by a green god splitting a turtle. Heaven collapsing esteemed. 1. I can immediately guess. This valley was created from the corpse of some creature killed by the heaven collapsing esteemed one Jang Ik. And I remember the chill I felt when I entered this valley. Ah, using the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts with Hamjin's body, I merge with the all-heaven sword and soar into the sky from the cave. I feel the boy seeing this sight from his unconsciousness, feeling astonished. But I can't concern myself with Hamjin's astonishment. As expected, I fly to the edge of the decaying corpse realm's sky. Looking down on this world from its ceiling, I can't help but be astonished. This world is a battlefield. Everywhere, absolutely everywhere, is marked by the blade scars from the padao Jang Ik had wielded. By examining the blade scars, I can gauge the aspects of the battle that took place here. The battle started at the northwestern end of this world and ended at this southeastern end. And the conclusion of the battle was Jang Ik's victory, with the creature he fought against dying. Jang Ik struggled quite a bit. I infer from the blade scars and the traces in this world, sweating inwardly. Jang Ik, a being with the title, Esteemed One, had struggled. This implies that the creature he fought against and killed, eventually becoming this valley, was also at the star-shattering stage. I now understand why this world, unlike the usual decaying corpse realms, has denser heaven and earth spiritual energy than the head realm. This world became enriched by the power that leaked from the creature after it died. Just what is this world? I look around this world in confusion. How could a mere decaying corpse realm withstand a battle between star-shattering stage entities so sturdily? I feel something strange and descend again. Kugugugik. I guide the celestial energy. Since the boy has the attributes of earth, fire, and metal in his true spiritual root, I shake the dragon vein to cause a mild earthquake in the area. Kugugugugu. The valley shakes, cracks forming and collapsing everywhere. How could the corpse of a creature that fought Jang Ik on equal terms be shaken so easily by mere heavenly being level power? Something is odd. At that moment, Jiang, From the corpse of the creature that became this valley after death. No, from the dragon vein that flows through this land, I realize something. This is, deep beneath the dragon vein. There, an immense amount of auspicious power is gathered. I see, it's not that the corpse of the esteemed one is weak, but all its power has concentrated in the force below, leaving the remaining outer shell fragile. Kugugak. I try to use attraction force to lift the entire valley. However, at that moment, Jing, single quote. Tisk. If I use more power, this boy's soul will collapse. The last cultivator who borrowed my power had at least reached the chi building stage. That's why, although barely, I could draw forth attraction force. However, the boy named Hamjin is merely a novice who has barely entered the first star of chi refining. Even as I am adjusting my presence to the minimum, he is struggling to withstand my soul's pressure. If I draw more power through his soul, there's a high chance his soul will be completely vaporized. Of course, if his soul were to vaporize, it would make it easier for me to take over his body, which is certainly advantageous. But that's unnecessary. There's no need to commit such an inhumane act. No matter how many treasures lie below, nothing is as precious as a single life. I enter the boy's cave residence and, after erasing the traces of his rituals to me, speak to Hamjin. Thanks to you, I have confirmed everything I needed. However, you seem unable to endure any longer, so I will withdraw for now. Since we've established a connection, you can summon me without a ritual next time. Summon me again. I will lend you my power. Hamjin nods feebly from deep within his unconsciousness, barely enduring the pressure of my soul. Wo Wang, I gather heaven and earth spiritual energy in my hand. And this is your reward for lending me your body for a moment. Wing, I condense the gathered gang chi. The gang chi forms a gang sphere above my hand, and I swallow it whole. The gang sphere enters the boy's law transformation dantian, settling at the center and becoming an inner core. Wing, pot, I synchronize the inner core with the boy's upper dantian, granting Hamjin the vision of the demon race. He might not yet be able to wield the power of the inner core I have formed, but he will at least gain the vision of the earth tribe. Beasts are more sensitive than humans, often foreseeing great disasters or accidents. This ability is based on the senses I have granted you. I have bestowed upon you the senses of a beast, so use them to survive. TSTSTSTs. I speak as I withdraw from Hamjin's mental world. Your soul needs time to heal, so summon me again in 3 months. We will meet again then. As I exit his body, Hamjin, utterly exhausted, collapses and faints. This is a substantial harvest. This is far more significant than the fortuitous encounter one gains by falling off a cliff during life and death struggles. A star-shattering esteemed one's corpse. Of course, even though it's the corpse of an esteemed one, most of the energy has faded. However, all that energy has not disappeared but has concentrated into one auspicious energy essence. The eerie feeling I had when I first entered was likely due to the presence of the esteemed one, despite death. Regardless, an esteemed one is still an esteemed one. There's a chance to obtain something left by that esteemed one. I return to my main body sitting in the religious hall, my eyes shining brightly. Hoo hoo hoo, hoo 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 hoo. I laugh cheerfully through my 19 mouths. It's then. Hong Fan urgently delivers a message. Cult leader, an integration stage grand cultivator is currently approaching the twilight domain. I extend my consciousness and perceive a lizard-shaped Jiangshi charging into the twilight domain that's wrapped in blessings. Judging by the aura, it belongs to the Black Ghost Palace. Quite the momentum. I rise from my seat, my eyes gleaming. No matter. I've prepared for such occasions. Inform the soul-extinguishing Ghost King to commence. Yes. Hong Fan uses a transmission talisman to contact Yun Sok. And to the west of the Twilight Domain, where the Grand Cultivator is charging towards. Yun Sok and Jaeon Myung-hoon stand ready. Do I just break through here? Won't the formation break? It's fine, I can control everything. Is that so? Yun Sok looks at Jaeon Myung-hoon with curious eyes. No matter how many times I see it, it's fascinating. To think that Jaeon Myung-hoon has grown so much. Quote. Just start already. Got it. Then, Kugugugugoo. Yun Sok absorbs the heaven and earth ghostly energy, focusing his mind. His entire body turns a shade of purple. His unique holy body allows him to absorb any type of energy. Be it the 5 elements spiritual energy, yin-yang energy, or anything else. It absorbs everything and melts it within the primordial chaos, elevating his realm. That is his unique holy body. Therefore, Whether he absorbs spiritual energy or ghostly energy, his cultivation will raise the same. Regardless, when he first arrived in the Nether Ghost realm, he fainted only because he wasn't accustomed to the energy he absorbed. Here I go. Ku-gu-gu-gu-gu. Oh Yun-Sok is attempting to advance from the heavenly being stage to the 4-axis stage. Kurring, kurururung. Dark clouds form in the sky, and dual-colored heavenly lightning strikes down on Oh Yun-Sok. Kurururung. Normally, when someone of his cultivation faces a heavenly tribulation, the entire area would be in chaos, but this time it's different. Jaeon Myung-hoon is controlling the remaining traces of the heavenly tribulation that strikes Oh Yun-Sok. And when the integration stage Grand Cultivator of the Black Ghost Palace that rules the nearby area, the Ghost King inhabiting the lizard Jiangxi, Jin Guishi, is about to body slam into the Twilight Domain. Kurururung. Jaeon Myung-hoon extends his hand, scattering the accumulated heavenly tribulation he has stored onto Jin Guishi. Kuog. Jin Guishi momentarily retreats, howling, and Jaeon Myung-hoon smirks as he speaks. This is the domain of the Wuji religious order. Please state your business for visiting. I just received a message, you devilish cultist bastards. They said you lifted the White Yin domain and transmitted it somewhere. To think you have now come here. I will make you regret it. Haha, haven't you heard that our cult leader fought against several integration stage Grand Cultivator Ghost Kings? Of course, I heard. But from what I can see, your cult leader seems to be maintaining this formation. Do you think he can come out and fight me? Moreover, it seems you've exhausted much of your strength due to the recent transmission. Jin Guishi sneers sinisterly at Jaeon Myung-hoon with a knowing expression. Indeed, his words are true. Seo Un-yun can't leave the Wuji religious hall, and the radiance of the White Orchid Blessing incantation, which had been blazing brightly until the activation of the Realm Annihilation Ground Shrinking Formation, has significantly weakened. However, Jaeon Myung-hoon smirks. Indeed, the situation is a bit challenging right now. But, do you think we didn't anticipate this? Snap. Jaeon Myung-hoon forms a hand seal. Following his hand seal, following his will. Quijijijik. The heavenly tribulation that is striking Oh Yun-Sok splits in the sky and spreads in all directions. The immense heavenly tribulation seemingly encircles the Twilight Domain, then flies back towards Oh Yun-Sok and strikes him again. The direction of the heavenly tribulation is distorted by Jaeon Myung-hoon, enveloping the entire Twilight Domain like a net before striking Oh Yun-Sok. Though it is distorted by Jaeon Myung-hoon, it's not interfered with, but slightly redirected, so the heavenly tribulation does not grow stronger. Attack as much as you like. This is a heavenly tribulation barrier brimming with the energy of vanquishing evil and upholding righteousness. Ku, controlling the heavenly tribulation, what kind of sorcery is this? Jin Guishi exclaims, retreating a step from the heavenly tribulation barrier in shock. Then, as if recalling something, he grins at Jaeon Myung-hoon. Indeed, the heavenly tribulation is a threat to us ghostly creatures, but it's a laughable tactic when you think about it. Juk. Jin Guishi opens his mouth and draws forth his Dharma treasure from his dantian. Spitting out a large wheel-shaped Dharma treasure, he begins to spin it. Kia. The wheel emits ghostly wails as tremendous ghost fire begins to blaze. Kururung. Jin Guishi hurls the ghost fire-laden wheel at the heavenly tribulation barrier. Flash. Kwang. The wheel imbued with ghost fire fails to penetrate the barrier and bounces back. However, the barrier changes. Kwaigg. The heavens rage. Someone has interfered with the heavenly tribulation during breakthrough. Help was given from outside. Thus, the heavens respond with even stronger heavenly punishment. The streaks of the heavenly tribulation grow thicker and stronger. Oh Yun-Sok, the target of the heavenly tribulation, is engulfed in an even brighter heavenly tribulation. Haha, in the end, isn't it over if the target of the heavenly tribulation dies? The barrier might grow stronger with my attacks, but that means the heavenly tribulation also gets stronger. You've ended up killing your comrade with your own hands. Jin Guishi cackles heartily, relentlessly attacking the barrier. The barrier made of heavenly tribulation grows thicker and stronger over time, but Jin Guishi only laughs. Come now, if you care for your comrade, dispel this foolish barrier immediately. Stop this foolish act of distorting the heavenly tribulation to your purpose. Yet, Jaeon Myung-hoon stands still. Jin Guishi frowns at this sight. These insane devilish path cultists. Even when their comrade is suffering so much from the heavenly tribulation, their expressions don't change at all. The heavenly tribulation is gradually thickening. Now, the barrier of heavenly tribulation doesn't look like a net surrounding the twilight domain, but rather a vast sea of thunder and lightning. Jin Guishi is puzzled. Wait a moment, isn't it about time for the target to die from facing the heavenly tribulation? The barrier of heavenly tribulation. Inside the vast sea of thunder and lightning. Oh Yun Sok, the source of the heavenly tribulation, is howling from within. Gua, ku gu 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 gu. Emitting streams of purple primordial chaos, Oh Yun Sok is holding his ground without succumbing to the heavenly tribulation. Jaeon Myung-hoon smirks widely as he watches this scene. Sorry, but our colleague gets tougher and stronger the more he gets hit. Jaeon Myung-hoon has witnessed Oh Yun Sok's training for the past 200 years. 5 elements body refinement, you say? Azure Heaven Creation Sect, just what? He shakes his head, gradually transforming his body. Transforming into a 6 arms giant spewing lightning, Jaeon Myung-hoon parts the sea of thunder and lightning and heads outside. Ku gu 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 gu. These wicked devilish cultists. They sacrificed their comrade as a pawn for the heavenly tribulation barrier. Truly despicable. They really are impossible to associate with. Think what you will. Kwa a jijijik. Jaeon Myung-hoon gathers the surrounding energy of the heavenly tribulation, his eyes brightening. How about you stop babbling and come play with me? Ahahaha. Ku, do you not have even an ounce of camaraderie? Now, come here. Welcome to the Wuji religious order. Kurururururu. Jaeon Myung-hoon laughs as he unleashes torrents of lightning. I extend my consciousness, observing Oh Yun Sok undergoing the heavenly tribulation and Jaeon Myung-hoon intercepting the intruder. They're doing well. In Oh Yun Sok's case, he is being relentlessly battered by the heavenly tribulation, being tempered like steel. Even if it's Oh Yun Sok, he would perish to an integration stage heavenly tribulation. But for now, it's just right for his training without dying. Jaeon Myung-hoon will handle it well enough. If they can hold on for a few more hours, I can activate the Realm Annihilation Ground Shrinking Formation again. In the meantime, shall I interrogate the captive? I head to the upper floor of the Wuji religious order to see the prisoner intended as the contact for the Black Ghost Palace. Clunk. The ghost prisoner dressed in the clothes of the Black Ghost Palace. When I open the door where she is staying, she looks startled from inside. Ku, what do you intend to do to me? Nothing much. We're just going to have a conversation. You wicked devilish cultist. What did you put in the food? My mouth. It feels strange. What's wrong with her? It's just ordinary tea. I had Hong Fan serve her honey tea with a mint flavor, but it seems she is startled by the unfamiliar taste. I thought all ghosts would like it since Kong Min Hee did, but I guess not. Your mouth will settle down soon. Now then, shall we have a more constructive conversation? Ku,